And we're back. Welcome to the second round and semifinals of the Global Startup Pitch, jointly produced by WiT and Phocuswright. This event is a great example of the strength of our global partnership and all of you as we surface innovation startups through this competition. My name is Kimberly Newbury, and I'll be guiding you around the world as we welcome the startups who've made it onto this stage. I'd also like to welcome my colleague, Soo-Hoon Yeo, founder of Web and Travel, lovingly known as WiT. Soo-Hoon?
Hey, Kimberly, how are you?
I'm really well.
This is one of the funnest things that we do, not funniest, but the funnest things that we do at WiT and Phocuswright, because it really brings the world together. And throughout this event, I think we have people from Ecuador, Italy, Geneva, Thailand, New York, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, so, and it's so good for us to bring the whole world together. So I'm super excited about this event that we've put together. And so firstly, congratulations to all the startups that have made it so far. We had 111 apply in March. And then in May, we had a first round. And for today's semifinals, we have shortlisted companies from each region. Plus, we have some exciting wildcards. So a total of 18 innovators who will be competing tonight.
That's right, Soo-Hoon. And a huge thank you to all of our sponsors and our partners for all of their support of these innovative companies and also of innovation generally. We're really thrilled to have them supporting us. Also, thanks to all of the judges who have evaluated all 111 of these startups from the beginning, and they've made it possible for us to have this competition. So you'll hear from them a little bit later on, but we're really grateful for all of the support that we've had from the industry in bringing this together.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of hard work from the judges. So a big thank you. Tonight, we'll cover 3 companies per region: Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa, Europe, and the Americas, and then 6 more from our wildcard category. And wildcards are really to surface ideas that are particularly global, future-oriented, and really attack what we feel are next generation challenges.
Right, that's right, Soo-Hoon. And although the judges were assigned to specific regions, they were selected based on expertise and understanding of the global travel tech landscape. And tonight we'll pick the finalists from each category that will advance to the semifinals. And Soo-Hoon, you know something about that.
I think they will advance to the grand finals, and that's and that's the pinnacle of the event. So yeah, we are super excited. It's it's getting really close, less than about a month away. The grand finals will be held on our main stage at WiT Singapore this October 2nd to the 4th, and we are going to call all humans to start the human revolution with us. So we're going to address some really interesting topics. Can't wait to see the finalists on our main stage.
And it's always super exciting to see them live on stage. And once they've had a chance to be in Singapore, we'll bring one of them to a Phocuswright conference to do a spotlight presentation in Florida this November. So really looking forward to having everybody live and on stage at both of our events and for all of you to attend.
So
Soo-Hoon, I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm really excited. You can see.
I know.
So as a refresher on the judging criteria, we are looking for viability, customer appeal, technical innovation, sustainability, team, and of course, that X factor.
All right. Well, Asia will be up first tonight, and in each category, startups will have 5 minutes to present to our panel of judges, who will then have 3 minutes for questions. We'll be quite strict on timing as usual, so please be aware that if your timing does go long, you will be cut off. And remember that format is really to keep the playing field as fair as possible and get some good conversations going for everyone. Open minds and lively discussions tonight.
So shall we begin, Kimberly?
I think it's time. All right, let's kick off with our Asia Pacific segment and welcome the panel of judges for this region. We'll see you later, Soo-Hoon. And thanks for your call for all humans. I will definitely be there. Kershin Gill from Singapore Tourist Board is joining us as a judge. Tim Hughes from Agoda. David Peller, board member and advisor, will be joining us tonight as a judge, and Clarence Chong from Kaizenfest. First up tonight, first up tonight, we have our innovator, James South from Igo Room. And James, it's time for you to kick off. You can start us off tonight. Remember, you have 5 minutes to present. Make sure that you've got your microphone on and your video up, and we'll start the timer as soon as you start presenting.
Sure, it needs you to, the other participant is sharing, so it won't allow me to share until you stop sharing. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So hi, okay. So my name is James South, and I'm the founder and CEO of Igotopia, which is the holding company with wholly owned subsidiaries Gecko Digital and Igo Room. And our vision is
presentation yet
ever. So in 2022, we broke all records for equity crowdfunding in Southeast Asia, matching the biggest raise with the single biggest ticket investment for seed in crowdfunding history.
Hey,
So
James, we don't
if we look at today,
your presentation yet. Can you hear us?
1 in 4
James?
of every dollar is spent on travel globally, which accounts for a $450 billion subsector. So with VR being at its highest adoption point and combined with the bounce back in luxury travel and immersive realities taking center stage as the world begins to embrace meta platforms, and with the highest compounded annual growth rate set to topple 19% by 2026 in luxury travel, it's within this perfect storm that Gecko Digital has capitalized and become the largest VR content marketing agency for hospitality in Asia Pacific. So already amassing the largest VR library in the Indian Ocean and Southeast Asia and scaling fast. And with the #1 market share in Asia Pacific and over 600 active clients using our 3D walkthroughs, and we've already accrued more than 21,000 images in our library. As VR is rapidly becoming table stakes in luxury tourism marketing, Gecko Digital has unlocked what we believe to be the secret to our success, which is distributing content by facilitating strategic partnerships with tourism boards and wholesalers in countries where tourism makes the biggest outsized contribution to GDP, to provide them with virtual reality directories where the hotels then pay us for the content. Having partnered with the Maldives Tourism Board, we have already gained a 90% market penetration in a country with the highest average daily rates, mapping more than 120 out of 140 hotels from the sky, in the rooms, and under the water, and owning that content and its distribution. So within this context...
Sorry, James, were you able to see that message?
Within this context, we are now rolling out similar initiatives in the Africas, Indian Ocean, and Caribbean. This allows us to create a curriculum for VR production to help empower local communities with newer technologies and springboard our production rollout capabilities. Emboldened with the knowledge that owning the IP and distribution rights of such a vast VR content library in such key locations not only gives us a huge competitive advantage, but more importantly poses the question, if this content is so effective on B2B and trade channels, why is there no OTA focused wholly on virtual reality? And this is how the idea of Igo Room was born. So, introducing Igo Room, the world's first truly VR luxury booking engine. We believe that the online travel space is homogenized, lacks both the intimacy and transparency that only a content-rich VR booking tool provides. Generating some fundamental market research and combining our own unit economics, the results are startling, suggesting an unprecedented appetite for a more immersive booking experience, turning lookers into bookers on not just the demand side, but also the supply side, as we jointly satisfy hotel needs by empowering them with the same content used on Igo Room. Knowing that the market is ripe for this kind of innovation, we've spent the last 2 years building what we believe to be the sleekest booking experience, allowing users to tour seamlessly through their respective hotels, from the sky, in the rooms, and under the water. Having onboarded some of the world's top hotels in a curated journey to luxury, we put our VR content frontline and center. Igo Room throws the consumer right into an immersive experience from the get-go. Here you can toggle between resorts, or simply travel and click on a hotel landing page to throw us right into the property and give us the kind of screen real estate our customers deserve. Moving through the hotel via a customized VR skin, the user can now choose the location, select a scene within that location, or simply tap on one of the hotspots to walk through to the next area. You'll notice everything loads seamlessly fast as we tap into AWS hosting capabilities and 4 and 5G load speeds. Once satisfied they have a better understanding of the hotel, they can now tour a complete destination via our Explore button, where we have mapped entire countries and local areas of interest in VR, an all-encompassing app covering product and destination in VR. Igo Room and Gecko Digital are both uniquely poised to take advantage, as our vision of distributing content across a value chain of strategic partnerships is now paving the way for limited licensing models and content, and don't we believe we've got the team to execute. Culminating in years of experience in both hotelier and distribution side of online travel, we have attracted some of the biggest names in travel and tech, some who have celebrated with us in our seed investment round, and we're now welcoming new investors, offering a 20% stake in a $5 million round for the holding company to launch Igo Room and celebrate the next chapter in what has been the most exciting journey so far. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, James. Judges, please bring up your cameras, unmute yourselves, and we'll kick off the conversation. Kershing, Tim, David, Clarence, who'd like to go first?
Hey, can I just ask which cities or countries you're in right now, and how much inventory do you have on your platform currently?
Yeah, so we're in South Africa, Cape Town, Seychelles, Maldives, Mauritius, UAE, Dubai, Thailand, Malaysia, Fiji. We're about to go into Hawaii, Indonesia. So Asia Pacific, branching into Australasia and Indian Ocean. In terms of current, there's two parts. There's Gecko Digital that sells the content. We've got about 700 active clients at the moment. That spans about 25,000 images in our library. And in terms of signed up to the curated online travel agent, we've got 150.
Okay, Kershing, I think you had a question next.
Yes, yeah, this is Kershing. I was going to ask, the content that you currently create for the clients, are they exclusively for your platform, or are those content also being distributed to other OTA platforms for the client? My second question is, what's your thoughts with regards to audience acquisition when you move towards the B2C path as this company grows?
Yeah, so your first question is, we have the IP over that distribution. So we promote and we encourage them as much as possible to distribute it to their B2B channels. But by being the content creation agency, and in a lot of cases, we actually barter that content. So in lieu of cash, we take room and inventory, which we then sell through the B2C platform. We ring-fence that IP and distribution, so they don't distribute it to other OTAs. We have exclusivity on the B2C side, but we encourage B2B as much as possible. So it really empowers direct sales as well. In terms of the B2C marketing roadmap, we've got a full roadmap that underpins that. I'd have to have my CMO on the meeting, but that goes from everything from PPC to digital to online to strategic partnerships that forms part of our burn.
Thank you.
Expanding on that, content's very expensive to set up and it's beautiful, looks amazing. So that's going to cost you a lot of money to do. B2C marketing is ridiculously expensive. Like, it doesn't matter how good your content is. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars to be competitive, to give a lot of money to Google, give a lot of money to other people. So tell us about how you're going to get enough money to both pay for the expensive content, which just looks beautiful, it's going to be amazing, but then equally to write big fat checks to Google and others to get the consumers to hear about you.
About 15 seconds left, James.
Okay, I think in terms of the B2B customer acquisition and hotels and onboarding content, our margins are so good that we can actually accrue room nights for the cost as a cost of sale and offset that. So our margins are quite good. We've got about a 10x markup from cost of goods to our resale value that we accrue that barter for. In terms of the B2C marketing engine, again, that's a full roadmap that underpins this. I believe that there will be a commercial deployment and a critical mass that we reach at some point in the future, and that might be a Series B or Series C, but that would get us the kind of, on the radar to compete with the bigger guys. Again, we don't compete with aggregators. We're not the cheapest room at the cheapest possible price. We are strictly luxury. It's curated world's top 200 hotels in VR.
Okay, thanks very much, James. We'll move on to Anna Weidling from Roadie Travel, and David, we'll get to you first on the next round. Thanks very much. Thanks, James. All right, Anna, if you would kindly bring up your presentation and bring up your video and your audio. We'll kick you off as soon as we can see your screen and make sure that you're up and live. Hey.
Sorry, it's not letting me share while you're sharing.
So sorry. Okay, you should be able to.
No worries at all. Can you see my screen now?
Yep. Good to go.
Fantastic. Perfect. Okay. Hi, I'm Anna, Partnerships and Marketing Lead from Roadie. So a few years ago, we decided to start exploring more of New Zealand and quickly learned just how difficult it was to find the information to plan a road trip. So we set out to uncover the country's best spots and began documenting our travels online, posting photos and videos about our epic experiences to social media under a brand called Roadie, which gained rapid traction. Fast forward a couple of years and we've now got an engaged following of over 250,000 people with a monthly reach consistently over 1 million organically. Google recently said that 40% of Gen Z are using TikTok and Instagram as their search engine, which we see firsthand every day with thousands of people not just liking our content, but saving it. While social media is great for getting travel inspiration, there's only so much you can do with a list of saved posts. Our travelers were still having to create itineraries in a Google Doc, add location pins on their Google Maps, and pull together information from multiple sources. We also discovered a huge problem for tourism operators in that many find it difficult to reach this millennial and Gen Z demographic. And a big part of this is because they don't know how to leverage social media. In fact, many of these operators were reaching out to Roadie to gain visibility through our channels. Enter the Roadie app, which makes it easy for travelers to find cool things to do and plan epic trips, and it enables tourism operators to connect with this audience. Our app can be broken into 3 key phases: find, do, and share. With close to 800 curated experiences from all over New Zealand, travelers are inspired through our imagery and able to discover experiences they didn't know existed. Travelers can then put these experiences in their own bucket lists to complete on their travels and tick them off by uploading a photo. All ticked off experiences are then saved as pins on your map of New Zealand, which you'll eventually be able to do around the whole world. Once you've ticked off an experience, you can then share your Roadie branded image from the app to your personal social media. We're already seeing a great response to this feature, and it's helping us with free word of mouth marketing. The app is also gamified and really taps into the addictive notion of ticking things off a list. We have a competitive top 100 leaderboard, and users can earn an array of badges for completing certain travel milestones. Our app has now been live for just over a year, and we've seen some great traction with almost 50,000 downloads, over 5,000 active monthly users, and almost 85,000 experiences have been ticked off by uploading a photo to the app. We started giving tourism operators the opportunity to list on the app 11 months ago, and with limited sales resource, have currently got 24 operators with 33 unique listings on the platform. We've also recently finished building in-app advertising functionality, where our criteria is that the company offers a deal to offer value to our users. We've recently signed Top 10 Holiday Parks as our first advertising client with an initial 12 months and are in discussion with a number of other interested parties. The beauty of our model is that the cost of acquisition for both travelers and operators is nothing when it comes to paid spend. Our social media provides our top of funnel marketing with our large organic monthly reach, as well as the free word of mouth marketing from our users. We have great relationships with tourism boards around New Zealand, and we've been able to leverage relationships with key partners such as Top 10 Holiday Parks, who have our collateral in their 43 sites around New Zealand, and Fortune Favours, with who we brewed our own Roadie beer. But the reason our cost of acquisition is nothing is that we lead the New Zealand market in the content creation and digital media space. These projects double as our marketing and are essentially getting paid to shoot the content we need for both our app and our social media. We've had so much interest in these partnerships that we raised our pricing at the start of the financial year and are fully booked for the next few months. We've now worked with 27 regional tourism organisations, as well as with Tourism New Zealand, and many of these are multiple campaigns. We've also worked with many of the country's leading tourism operators and have our ongoing partnerships. We're starting to get a lot of interest from big multinational brands who are looking to align themselves with the Roadie brand and our values. At the end of last year, we signed a 12-month partnership with Polestar, ChargeNet, and Sixt, who are helping us work towards our goal of making all of our trips carbon neutral. With over half of all advertising dollars now spent online, and with the tourism industry ramping up again, both our app and content offerings are in a great position to capitalize. We comfortably tripled our revenue in the 2023 financial year and are projecting a healthy year-on-year growth over the next 2 years, with our focus being on growing our app revenue. We have a talented and diverse team of 8, including 2 board members with extensive experience in the tourism sector. The founders currently own 82% of Roadie before the dilution that will occur as part of this equity round, and 15% is allocated for staff ESOP. We are seeking via a seed equity round a minimum of 300,000 at a valuation of 2.8 million, which will primarily be used as we prepare for our launch into Australia. Thanks for listening to the Roadie story.
Thanks, Anna. That's great. Judges, if you could bring your screens up and unmute your microphones. I think Mr. David Peller, you're first up with a question.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna, for the presentation. I'm curious, who else operates in this space, and how would you say Roadie differentiates from those other operators?
In terms of operates in the space, do you mean like the app space or the content creation promotion space?
You define your business.
It's definitely a 2-part business at the moment. But there are other apps that kind of do more of the camping side of things, but not so much from that inspirational phase through to the actually planning a road trip, through kind of being able to make bucket lists and plan itineraries through the Roadie app. So that's kind of how we differentiate, as well as our imagery. We go out and shoot all of our own content, and it's top tier quality imagery, which kind of puts us in line with an Instagram style experience when you use the app, which the Millennial and Gen Z demographic really resonates with.
Pershing, Timothy, Clarence?
Adding to the question I asked the last one, I mean, the imagery is beautiful and enticing, but that's got to be expensive every time. Photographers aren't cheap. So how do you keep paying for that? Number 2, does AI pose a threat here? If people can just shout at a machine, give me a beautiful photograph next to a rock of a guy jumping near a lake, can your professional images compete with what the Terminator can just make up?
To answer your first question, so we have our own in-house content team. So our team is consistently on the road, so the tourism organizations around New Zealand, as well as Tourism New Zealand, hire us to go out and shoot beautiful content around the world, which then they use to market New Zealand to broader demographics. So the cost of salaries is easily paid for by the cost that we on charge then to the tourism organizations for creating this content. And in terms of AI, I mean, AI is of course a threat, but the quality of the imagery we produce in these really remote places in New Zealand that a lot of people don't know of, and we know that there are those places all around the world, we're not overly worried. We're also telling the story of these places and helping people engage and learn about places that aren't readily available with knowledge that's already out there. So no, I don't think AI poses a huge threat in that space.
Okay, Clarence, Kershing, do either of you have a question? We've got about 15 seconds left.
Where do you see your
Sorry, I think you've frozen there.
Yeah, I didn't catch the question either, and we're out of time, but thank you so much, Anna. That was great. And we'll tee up Murray Decker. Judges, we'll see you for the last one.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Murray, if you could bring up your screen. We will start the clock as soon as you've got everything loaded, and I will disappear.
Okay. Just after the first one, just confirming you can all see.
Looks great. Go ahead. We'll start the clock as soon as you start.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name's Murray Decker. I'm coming to you from Brisbane, Australia. I am the founder of Touramigo. Touramigo is a travel technology company. We're completely business to business, and we specialize in booking and reservation software and operational software, as well as API distribution for the much needed tours, cruises, and destination management companies, DMCs. If you've been traveling in the last year or two, it's likely that you may have traveled with one of our clients unbeknowingly, but we supply these operators that might be delivering the experience that you're going to Africa on a safari, going to Morocco on a stay away in the desert. If you've been on one of these trips, it's likely that you've actually encountered one of our target customers or one of our current customers. What you'd be very surprised to know is that although they're dealing with very complex itineraries, 99% of these operators or our target market have no distributional connectivity. And the reason for that is that the majority of them do not have a reservation and booking system. They all operate mainly off spreadsheets or legacy technologies, and that has been due to the expense of technologies to build, which is usually custom built or internally built, and accessibility. There really hasn't been a SaaS or software as a service that's been available to these companies to run their entire business, build their itineraries, and get more bookings. So we are revolutionizing this $300 billion market with next-gen software for the target market that you can see in front of you here, the tour operators, cruise companies, and even we go to travel agencies who are now looking at rebranding tour packages themselves. The solution that we have for this big problem, and one of the largest problems in the travel industry here, is the SaaS software that you see here. It allows them to have online bookability. It is an automated, updated system that is a true SaaS system. We define it, if you're over in the US, as an ERP, an enterprise resources planning. So it's not just a matter of itinerary building and then distributing and selling. This is all their operational checklist. This is all their financial reconciliation, accounts payable, receivable. So anything that is part of their business, we power the entire operations. On the other side of the coin here is that we have global distribution. So this is where we can actually open up. We've already got about 100 different travel agencies and online travel agencies that are seeking us as a channel manager and aggregator. So this is an added bonus on top of the efficiencies that we can provide to them with an actual proper operating and booking system. We have over 100+ years of travel tech experience with 40 years experience combined with a fantastic team that have been previous founders in the cruise space and have huge amounts of experience in the travel space that we're combining together that has produced this very unique product. We've already winning. We've already got traction. We're already over the world. It's important to note that we actually haven't conducted any marketing whatsoever. It's all been through referrals and trade shows. So when we bring on a tour operator, we're generally getting them recommending on other tour operators or DMCs. But you can see that we've now got over 650,000 tour products in the system. Our financials are tracking very well. We are actually, even though going live in November last year, we're on track to actually break even by the end of this year in Q4, which we're very proud of. We have a huge pipeline of 2,500 SaaS clients, and our commercial model, as you see at the top there on the top right, is that we are charging monthly fees as per the number of people using the system internally, and also a booking fee. So we have got an average annual recurring revenue. We are on track between 1 to 1.3 annual recurring revenue USD in the millions there. The competitive analysis, we've put it on a scale of a very basic scale here of legacy technology to next generation technology. Generally speaking, a lot of the competitors are custom building and are on legacy systems. So there's a very different and distinction point as the SaaS. Also, what's a very big distinction differentiation for us is that we provide them with a bookable API or live connectivity to any partners they want to sell to. We are raising $5 million USD to be mainly put into a B2B marketplace ecosystem, expanding the team and growing sales. And what I'd like to finish on is that this is the future. We are now starting to see a very big B2B ecosystem where tour packages and tour operators are bringing in day tours and activities and accommodations into the systems, and they all want to be talking to each other, contracting one another, and that's where we see the future, that we're actually going to bring this components into one single solution where there can be a centralized B2B payment, and we can actually bring in lifestyle brands to monetize a B2B ecosystem. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Murray Decker from Tour Amigo. Hi, Clarence, David, Kershing, and Timothy. Just a reminder to the judges that you should be logging your scores in the Google Sheets. So if you haven't done that, please pop those open as well. And Murray, any questions for Murray? Who'd like to kick us off? Clarence, we missed your question last time. Would you like to start?
Yeah. What's your go-to-market strategy?
We're already in market. They're coming to us. There's such a high demand. So we actually, we've already generating revenue. We're about to hit profitability. But expansion of the market is definitely putting more people on the ground in the different markets, as well as different trade shows, and also getting into the publications. So being part of student groups, tourism groups, and yeah, it's just been, we've actually, our biggest problem at the moment is we've got too much demand coming through for the size of our team.
Yeah. Hey, Murray, partnerships can be a great accelerant to any business. If you could partner with one organization, who would that be, and what do you think you offer them, and what do you need most from that partner?
From a SaaS position, it would be with one of the larger tour operators. That could be part of the Travel Corporation, that's the Kentikis and Trafalgars of our world. It could be one of the big P&O cruise liners that we would do, where we would power their entire operations and cabin styles, because we just have launched cruise and we've already got 3 customers now in river and ocean cruising. On the distribution side, the big players of Expedia and TripAdvisor, which we have been talking to, and they are interested in someone aggregating all of these multi-day and complex itinerary products that are over 2 days in duration and may go up to 30 days, very highly profitable. And that would be the 2 big clients that we could really accelerate us.
Thanks.
Kershing, do you have a question?
Yeah, it's a follow-up question to earlier. I was just wondering, where do you see to be your sweet spot in the ecosystem? Because I reckon that some of the bigger corporation, whether is it your travel leaders, travel corps, would have their own powering reservation system and booking system. So where do you add? But yeah, you're absolutely right in the sense that the smaller ecosystem players, there's a lot of legacy issues. So I'm just wondering, where do you see to be your sweet spot as the company kind of move towards the next 2 years?
Absolutely. Initially, we thought it was exactly that. Like we were saying, it was the smaller to mid-sized companies. It's been shocking we've actually secured one of our largest clients that's turning over 50 to 60 million a year. The larger ones of 100 million, we're already in tenders with 3 of them that are turning over, that they're larger players. They have either built their own internal systems initially, or they've actually got a development company to build it for them, and they're getting outdated. It's costing them a fortune to run it. They can't update it. They're updating 6 months at a time. Once every 6 months, we update once every week. So in answer to your question, definitely the mid-sized market's defensible. If you lose a mid-sized market, which we haven't lost a customer yet, then it's not as devastating. We would get 1 to 2 bigger clients is what we've factored into our projections per year.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Murray. And you've wrapped up our Asia Pacific section, so thanks very much for that. Clarence, David, Kershing, and Timothy, thank you so much for judging this section. Please make sure you record your scores, and we will move on to the next presentation segment.
Thank you.
All right, so next up are our wildcards. So wildcards, if you haven't joined us before, wildcards may not have made the cut in the first round, but we've determined as WiT and Phocuswright that if they have that they have something really meaningful to contribute and are attacking a kind of a next generation challenge. So they will have 5 tight minutes to present, followed by 3 minutes for judges' questions. And we've got some great judges for this segment. Welcoming as judges, Massimo Morin from AWS, Topaz Smith from World Economic Forum, Michael Tresco from 8 Roads Ventures, and Susanna Chu. from Amadeus Ventures. Our first wildcard innovator coming up tonight is Nate Poon from Aval Aerospace. Nate, if you would bring up your presentation deck, we will start the clock as soon as you start speaking. Remember, you have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Great. Hey everyone, my name is Nate. I'm one of the founders of Evolve. We do same-day drone delivery of bulky items for hospitals. So I come from a logistics background. This is the third company that I've built. I spent the past 10 years selling robots and AI to logistics carriers. Previously built robots for Amazon, Tesla, DHL, Delta, and other major logistics carriers. My co-founder did his PhD in aerodynamics. He's one of the world's leading experts on blended wings. This will be important a little bit later on. And he previously ran products for aircraft companies like Qantas, but also BP, Caterpillar, and Spirit, where they build 737s. Our advisors come from Zipline, Ground Force, Park, DRL. So between all of us, we know quite a bit about building drones and also about logistics. The problem that we're trying to solve here is that shipping things fast is actually really slow. If you're FedEx or DHL, this is how you transport things right now. You take everything down into multiple trip segments, and then you coordinate multiple vehicles along those segments, and then you use high-cost, low-capacity aircraft to transport things from A to B. Now, a lot of people say, okay, well, why don't we just use drones to fly point to point? But the problem with that is that existing drones lack practicality. eVTOLs have too little internal volume to carry a useful payload. And then fixed-wing drones require things like runways or catapults to get airborne. So these things make implementation very, very difficult. One way to make this work, though, is to use a different type of aircraft called a blended wing. It's unstable through the air, but if you can stabilize it, then you have more cargo capacity and higher efficiency. And then use these types of aircraft to fly directly between hubs, carrying cargo. So if you do this, you can increase the cargo per flight, you can reduce transit times by up to an order of magnitude, and you can reduce cost by over half. That's what we do. We're building an autonomous air cargo service specifically for hospitals that enable 10 times faster transit by shipping point to point using autonomous blended wing aircraft. So given 2 hubs, we fly cargo between these 2 hubs and charge a fee for that service. What makes us different is we operate a novel patented aircraft. This aircraft is notoriously aerodynamically unstable, and part of our secret sauce has been stabilizing it so it can fly. We have about 60% more internal volume. It takes off and lands vertically, and it's 3D printed, which allows us to customize it to our customers' use cases and enable better chain of custody. Our second key advantage here is we're not waiting for regulation. We're building a hospital courier network right now using human drivers, and we'll cut in the drones later. What that means is that we can scale anywhere in the world completely uninhibited by aircraft regulation and start generating revenue and building customer trust now. And so we have a couple of these already running. We're starting by transporting kidneys. There's about 25,000 kidneys transplanted every year. Each one generates a hospital about $500,000 in revenue, but about a third of kidneys are rejected because they spend too much time in transit. So by flying kidneys directly between hubs, we enable hospitals to generate $2 million more in revenue per month. And then we use those exact same routes to transport other things like car parts, bulk food, tools, or passengers. We charge $500 per flight, which is the exact same as what our customers are paying right now for couriers. 2 flights per day per hospital means about $223 million in revenue, just if we do short haul flights. Our goal here, though, is to become the largest airline in the world, using our blended wing bodies to demonstrate massive economies of scale for reducing the cost of air transport. We're starting with the hospital-to-hospital courier market. That's about $2.3 billion, and our target at each hospital is the hospital coordinator, who is in charge of setting up all these logistics. After that, we target the medical courier market and the express courier market. So we have 9 pilots, 2 LOIs. We've been accepted by some of the best institutions in the world, and we've built a couple of aircraft. Up next is to optimize our 3D printed airframe. We're building multiple test frames. We're also printing the aircraft right now at the University of Maine, and we're launching in Brazil and New Zealand by the beginning of next year. So to do that, we're raising $2 million to expand our service and build more drones. About 600,000. That gets us to about 600,000 in annual revenue, 1,000 flight hours with the Aval 10, and allows us to complete construction of the Aval 25 which will be the first commercial kidney drone flights in the world. So I have a couple of frequently asked questions on the right-hand side, but feel free to ask me anything else. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Nate. Great presentation. Thanks very much. I'm going to invite the judges, Max, Topaz, Michael, Susanna, to come back and ask their questions. Who'd like to start us off?
I can start.
Susanna. All right.
I'm definitely going to ask about regulation, Nate. Where are you in the certification process, and where do you plan to fly first, given that regulations to fly autonomous drones is very early stage, no? This around the world.
Absolutely. So our master plan is to start in New Zealand, where certification is faster. They've already given us 18 miles to fly and launch applications within the city of Christchurch. We've already submitted our CONOPS and registered the aircraft to fly over there. We expect to be flying by the end of this year. We will use our traction in New Zealand New Zealand uses the JARIS SORA standards, so they're in bullet point number 2 there. And by checking those boxes, we automatically check the boxes for multiple other regions. So start in New Zealand, get the JARIS SORA standards. Next is to use those JARIS SORA standards for the rest of the world, or at least 63 other countries, and then use that traction to enter into the US and Europe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. My question is around energy efficiency and charging. What does that look like for these drones?
So it's actually a relatively small cost of our total overhead. This is for the AVOL 500, but AVOL 25, excuse me. So each aircraft charges with a level 2 or level 3 charger. It charges in about an hour to 2 hours. Ultimately, what that means for our unit economics is each aircraft breaks even in about 8 to 10 months of operation.
So while we are on this, if I may, how you plan to scale this? I mean, you're talking about fairly large markets. How many drones do you need to do these things? And who is your competitor? And would you see going to market to partner with some of them?
Great question. 10,000 drones will give us enough coverage to get to a couple, like $10 million in revenue. Each drone is 3D printed, so this is relatively easy to do. This is also a step change in how aircraft can be manufactured. This is something that we're patenting right now with the University of Maine. How we plan to scale is, the great thing about 3D printing is I can set up literally anywhere in the world with a large 3D printer and print these aircraft almost nonstop. The amount of labor per aircraft is very low. And so this allows us to, this is the difference between putting an aircraft at every hospital, like what we plan to do, versus what all of our competitors are doing, which is like, for example, AWS, where you guys, or Amazon, where all the drones fly out of a single hub. It's much better from a logistics standpoint to put the drones at point of use rather than launching them from a hub nearby. And so with 3D printed architecture, this allows us to scale much more rapidly than their competition.
And how long does it take to print a drone?
All said and done, about 100 hours right now. It'll be a lot lower later.
Okay, great questions. Thanks, everybody. We're out of time. Michael, we'll come to you first on the next one. Thanks very much, Nate, and we'll catch up with you on the next round. Thank you. All right, next up we have Sam George from Katosna, our second innovator for the wildcard. And Sam, whenever you're ready, please go ahead and load your presentation and we'll bring you up live. You have 5 minutes to present. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Kimberly. Hello, everybody. I'm Sam, CMO. We're Katosna, multilingual guest experience platform for hotels. Let's try this again. Okay. So essentially, we were focusing on 4 key problems for hoteliers. First is labor shortage. So 80% of hotels are suffering staff shortage and travel is back, as I'm sure most of us are traveling these days. Language barriers. So serving international tourists across dozens of languages is difficult, especially in understaffed hotels. Changing guest expectations. So 73% of guests prefer self-service. This is only accelerated because of COVID. And then finally, a persistent problem is access to local digital payment infrastructure. So things like international tourists come to Asia, they don't have access to LimePay or Alipay, things like that. And there's no real way to solve this. So our core product is, let me get this out of the way here, is Katosna In-Room. which is essentially a multilingual digital concierge. You can see a picture of it on the right. So it's a QR code that's placed in the guest room. It provides real-time translation of all hotel services, 109 languages. It has integrated live chat, so I can speak in Arabic and the staff can speak in Chinese. We can understand each other and transact. And then we provide data on hotel analytics. So the hotel has access to what guests are clicking on and what kind of messages they have, and then they can improve hotel services based on that. It's a SaaS model, B2B, $5 per month per room. And essentially we use this as a platform to layer on additional services. So in the bottom right corner, you can see Trip-On and Trip-Pay, and I'll talk about those in a second. So the benefit that we provide is essentially smoother hotel operations, better experiences. So it's going from, guests using Google Translate inside the hotel to speak with staff to having services in their own language. It's staff moving from low value queries like, where's the gym, or, what's the Wi-Fi password, to being able to focus on high value experiences. And then at the most basic level, moving from, paper, which is still there's a lot of paper processes inside hotels, to fully digital processes. So those are the benefits. So outside of that, we're layering on additional services, the first of which is a QR-based card key, which enables us to do two things. First is have Trip-On, which is a digital coupon wallet, and then enable digital payments. So I'll talk about the first one first. So Trip-On was essentially a platform to distribute promotions and sell packages. So you can see on the left over here, there's the coupon wallet. So essentially we link with the property management system, which allows the hotels to distribute essentially first party coupons. So they can distribute, breakfast coupons. So when you arrive at breakfast in the morning, you just scan your QR code and then it redeems the breakfast automatically. Or the hotel could distribute restaurant and bar discounts, things like that. In addition to that, we are partnering with partners like JTB or other OTAs to add inventory into the application. So then guests have access to local deals, and then the hotels can get affiliate revenue from the redemptions. We're releasing this at the end of Q3. In addition to that, we have Trip-Pay, which essentially enables payment inside and around the hotel. So inside the hotel, the guest, instead of using a credit card or cash or anything like that, they can use the card. It's sort of a resort concept. So if you've ever been to Tomorrowland or these kind of music festivals, you scan everywhere inside the property, and then you can pay that way. So essentially we're doing that within the hotel, at the restaurant or gift shop, as well as around the hotel. So building an ecosystem around the hotel so that they can use it at restaurant and retail outlets in the area. So the outcomes for hotels we see are staff hours saved in terms of operation, increased satisfaction, which we can see in guest reviews, affiliate revenue, which comes from redeeming the coupons and making payments, as well as increased orders in F&B and amenity upselling opportunities. So we are in 300 hotels right now and 36,000 hotel rooms globally. You can see some of the names along the bottom there. Our MMR is increasing 10% per month and has increased 2.5x year over year. So seeing healthy growth post-COVID. So our vision is building digital experiences across the guest journey. So I've only talked about two of these today, which is the in-stay experience, as I mentioned, and the around stay, which is the QR code-based card key. But we're also building built a chatbot layered on top of ChatGPT, which we're launching within Japan currently. And you can ask more questions about that later, but I didn't have time to talk about it. So we see this as a big market. So essentially guest experience platforms, the target markets for us are Japan, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. We see that as a $900 million market with $270 billion as our market share. Our go-to-market is essentially exclusive partnerships plus direct marketing. We are an exclusive partner of JTB, which is the largest OTA in Japan. They have a dedicated sales team that work at 10,000 hotels, which allows us to sell into the hotels. In addition to that, we signed recently a deal with a white label partner in Saudi Arabia, who also has a dedicated sales team and allows us to penetrate the EMEA market. So we see our competitive advantages having, because of these relationships, deep market knowledge, sticky solutions. Sometimes we have, we have very low churn, 1 or 2%, as well as a customizable and scalable platform. Each hotel is unique, and our solution really allows for that. And we have a strong team. Henry Goto is the founder. He IPO'd his previous company in 2004 and made it exited in 2014, as well as a global team, as you can see here, for myself from Agoda and Deutsche Bank, as well as a global team from 9 nationalities. So yeah, that's actually it. So thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Sam. All right, Max, Topaz, Michael, Susanna. I think Michael is the first up for questions, as we missed him on the last round. So Michael, do you have a question for Sam?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. My camera is not working for some reason. I think you need to unblock it maybe. But either way, Sam, congrats. Sounds like a really compelling value proposition and nice presentation. Maybe big picture, just because you mentioned a variety of use cases. that the app can do and solve. What is kind of the entry wedge for you guys? What is there one particular aspect of the proposition that your customers are initially excited about, and then you get them to use the others, or how does that work?
So the product was born out of COVID, actually. So in 2020, because of the desire to decrease the face-to-face operations within Japan, the hotels were demanding a digital solution, didn't really exist in the market. So essentially, we cooperated at that time with JTB to build the in-room solution. So that's the one in the center here. So did not share my screen. Hold on a second. Unshared my screen there. So we built this product around digitizing all hotel operations. So that was the original draw for people, is to digitize all the operations. What we've noticed though is that the internal messaging is sort of one of our key competitive advantages. That there are other solutions in the market. You've seen these before, right? Like there's Vouch in Singapore. There's others abroad. But we're one of the only ones that has built-in internal messaging, so you don't have to use WhatsApp or any other kind of messaging tool, which you'll find if you go to other hotels in Europe and places like that. Everybody's using WhatsApp for Business or these costly messaging platforms, which are like, maybe 20 cents per message or something like that. So that's sort of the core proposition. So it's actually a relatively low price compared to our competitors. So essentially we get in with the in-room product and then build services around that.
Got it. Thank you.
So if I may, it seems you have three products in one, and the way that you started was actually these communication things, and the differentiating value was actually that you had people that curated the translation. Now you are moving to automated system, ChatGPT kind of system. So how is that stay congruous to your mission of having this differentiating value, having these people there that actually create the translation?
Yeah, I think that well, thank you for the question. What you will find when you look at our competitors is they see themselves as more of like a hotel operating system. So they're going up the value chain, they're going into PMS, or they're going into the more operations part. I think we are a messaging platform, right? So we focus on allowing the hotel to communicate with guests the best way possible. So at the beginning, it's sort of a one-to-one peer-to-peer conversation with that kind of manual translation. But we see using a chatbot integrating with our in-room platform, integrating with the hotel website, and then after service as well. I think that seems like a natural transition actually for us, and we know how to do that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Topaz and Susanna, I'll ask you to ask the first questions next round. Thanks so much, Sam. Please, judges, make sure that you're marking your scores in your Google Doc, and we will be bringing up our next presenter, Ilya Mikin, founder and CEO of WiT. Ilya, if you could please bring up your presentation, unmute yourself, and we'll get started as soon as you're ready to give us your presentation.
Yeah, I can't start my video, so if you can allow me to start my video, that would be great.
Okay, we'll work on it on the back end. There you go. Okay, if you can bring up
everybody.
your presentation, we won't start you until we can see your presentation. We can't see it quite yet.
Good to go. Again, hello everybody. I'm Ilya Mikin, CEO of WiT. WiT is the automated customer onboarding B2B SaaS. We help businesses to seamlessly and secure to onboard customers in one click. So businesses lose globally $80 billion due to friction at onboarding. So if you know that customers, if travel a lot, they at every airline or OTA, they have to create their profile. It takes 4 main steps, and they input that manually, and that involves also quite often fraud, manual errors. And this ID should be constantly updated. So if in travel industry, the dropout rate at the checkout is up to 70%, and half of these people actually they don't want to filling checkout form right away, and therefore they drop out. So our solution provides just 2 steps. We just identify the customer at the checkout, pull his verified ID from external source, and process the checkout in one click together with payment. So we provide 3 times faster customer onboarding and validation of ID on a regular basis. So the ID remains valid and constantly updated automatically without manual input. That increase conversion, decrease fraud, manual errors, and decrease the cost of the identification itself. And you always have validated ID data, very private and secure. And also this allows also to push for special offers and loyalty in one click during the checkout. So that's the technological part of it. We are ID aggregator. We're aggregating verified ID sources, both from classic Web 2, but also Web 3, which is important for the large crypto and Web 3 community. And also we are enabled to process NFT for special offers. And we assign for every customer decentralized shopping ID for even faster validation in the future. So the market of self-checkout is growing fast. The forecast it will grow 300%. But most importantly, that decentralized identity management will grow 80% annually until 2028, according to the CB Insights. So it's a fast-growing market we're entering. At the moment, we already run MVP. So travel is not the only market. We're entering different industries with our solution. Currently, our MVP is working on a Shopify platform where we are rolling out this. And we see the 30% increase in conversion and 80% decrease in chargeback fraud. So we plan to reach 100 million ARR in 3 years. Our go-to-market strategy in travel is through traveler profile management software. We signed letter of intent with Umbrella Faces, and we plan to add our products to the product line in the future. We have 3 founders, business development and technical. We have 2 successful exits, and we have experience in e-commerce, travel, and startups. So Wall ID is a seamless, secure customer onboarding, fully automated, that delivers for the businesses high conversion, decreased fraud, security and privacy of ID data, and one-click ID verification and automated update. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Ilya. Bringing back Massimo, Topaz, Michael, and Susanna. Susanna, do you have a question to kick us off, and then maybe Topaz after you?
Sure. In terms of payment wallets, ID wallets, right? A lot of it goes down to trust, right? To say whether the consumer believes that they can share with you their data and trust that you'll be able to keep it safely. In this case, how do you see it, not as being a startup in this space versus solutions that are already in place, with Apple Pay, Android Pay, etc. So that type of solutions are also becoming more and more popular. How do you see the competitive landscape?
We aggregate all those payment solutions. So we are connected now to Apple Pay, Google Pay, and all of them. Where it's available, we offer an open banking solution so the customer can check out with its own bank. So you can see on this screen. So we identify what the bank customer has, and the customer can check out with its own bank solution, just open banking where it's available. But otherwise, again, the payment already for us is just aggregation. So it's not our core value. Our core value is ID verification, update, and validation. So we reduce fraud and automate onboarding for both customers and businesses. But payment is part of our total solution. But in terms of trust, we pull the data from trusted sources like credit bureau scoring or banking solution. So that's something that customer already trust. So it's not from us, but we store the data on a customer device. So that's also part of the trust. We communicate clearly to the customers that the data they pull, they are stored only on customer device. We don't store on any database or server. We are decentralized solution.
Thank you.
Okay, Topaz, do you have a question to follow up on that? Or something different?
Yeah, I wanted to know what you would say the biggest risks are right now, having a company in this space.
Well, actually, because this decentralized ID management is just growing and emerging, we see a lot of actually opportunities, and we see the high demand. So the company is coming to us, despite we're early on and we just have MVP, but actually we see the demand coming to us. So we see that space is growing, and especially, yes, we see that now that big also crypto community, Web3 community, they don't want to use conventional methods of identifying. So they want something to enter the real world of travel or e-commerce through the conventional crypto identification. So that's what we offer. So we offer that bridge between Web3 and Web2. So I think that's our unique proposition, that we are aggregating both worlds in terms of the identification and payment.
Okay, and that's our time. Thank you very much. Thanks, judges, Massimo, Susanna, Michael, and Topaz. Please mark your scores. Thanks very much, Elia. We're going to move on to our next segment. So thank you, everyone. Okay, next up, we are moving to Middle East and Africa, a place where innovation and development are definitely hopping. We're here to welcome all of our startups and also some new judges. Remember, if you're just joining us, innovators will have 5 minutes to present. Judges will have 3 minutes to ask questions. And if timing goes over, presenters will be halted. So join me, please, in welcoming our panel of judges for Middle East and Africa. We're delighted to welcome Sanjay Sharma, Aurelie Crow, Darren Henley, Mona Faraj, and Loe Al-Mujadidi. Thank you all so much for being here. We're delighted to have you. And we're excited to kick off with our first innovator. Judges, if you could take your video down, we will bring our first innovator up, and we will ask Alex Skarabin from Beach Searcher to join us and bring up his presentation. Alex, if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to see your presentation come up. And as soon as we have you up and live on the screen and you start speaking, we'll start the timer. All right, thanks very much.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm co-founder of startup beachsearcher.com, the worldwide beach searcher and social platform with vacation planner. Beach vacation is the top popular leisure activity in the world. About 25% of annual vacation traffic are beachgoers. And to find the best matching destination to the specific needs is one of the key problems that faces every traveler. To solve this problem, travelers have to engage in long web research, switching between different sources. And sometimes these researches give unpredictable results. Reality doesn't meet expectations. Vacation is lost. And Beach Search introduced a new way of beach vacation planning. We have structured all beaches and combined them with the travel necessary data to make it easy to search and plan. Our key proposals: all beaches of the world, largest beach database. We are more than 10 times larger than any of our competitors. The super flexible search capability. Just enter any location name to see the nearest spots. We also have a powerful filter, which allows you to quick and easy find the beach of your dreams. Each beach has more than 50 parameters by natural features, occupancy, etc. And special algorithms that formulated beach recommendation on historical presets and preference of current and similar users for best results. We are discovering the new customer funnel, organizing classification from the key and the most valuable activity, beach. So the overall results, no more tons of information in the form of long reads. We can find the perfect beach for vacation just in 2 clicks. And about the market, the global beach travel expenditures is about $1 trillion, and potential serviceable market for Beach Searcher is a quarter of TripAdvisor, which approximately corresponds to the beach travel segments It's about 800 millions. And about the traction, we have tested our business model. The MPV showed steady organic growth. On January 22, we had just about 1,000 daily visitors. But in August 22, our daily visitors peaked 25,000. And now, with increased coverage, we continue to scale. This month, we have reached 1.5 million audience. And these results are totally organic, without any marketing cost. The expected value of a booking at 2023 is about $2 million. It is more than 4 times higher than in previous year. And one interesting moment in this short run between pitch round, we also have a very strong positive dynamics. Bookings in 4 times, audience in 5 times, MMR in 7 times, and including such important indicator, it's active user audience in 8 times. Our community is growing. No bad for such short period. And concerning the question of the team, I can say that each of our team is amazing in his own way. In our team, we don't have a person with a top brand background, but each of us is a professional in certain segment. And together we have all key skills requirement for startup development. And of course, we are active beach goers with a great love to the new beach discoveries. And after previous round, we have received invited from magazine CEO Insight to release top 10 best leaders to travel industry from Asia 2023. And now we are looking seed investments to scaling and additional development of our platform. The target value is 1.5 million, which will be mainly used to expand content core and develop beach host integration according of our business model. And now we have grown to #1 beach database resources, and there are truly great opportunities for additional expansion of our products. Let's change the vacation. Start organize your vacation from the main activity, beach. Thank you. I'm happy to answer your question.
All right, thanks a lot, Alex. Judges, if you could bring your videos live and unmute your microphones, we can start asking Alex some questions. I know I am ready to hit the beach after that presentation. Okay, who's up next? Who would like to?
Me too, but I cannot get my camera on.
Okay, we'll try to work it out on the back end. Mona, if you want to ask a question, go ahead. Sure. We can hear you.
How do you acquire your content for destination and for hotels?
How we compare it?
No, where do you acquire your content from? Your hotel content and your destination content.
Okay. About content of our beaches, we have several steps for create contenting. We have a team of content manager who use internet. Also, we have some IE programs that are together creating some table. And also we have several steps for moderating of other people. And also our developers can compare it with the special algorithms and put to our website. About the hotel, now we have some information API from Agada, but now we are discussing without booking.com, like our main partners for API. And after we receive API, we can give much more information and will be more useful. And previous times, we are understanding that it's near time to receive API with the booking.com.
I have a
okay, thank you. Orly, next question.
How would you define your added value compared to what Google does, for example, with maps?
Okay. You mean like our Google Maps, like our competitors, yeah?
Yes, yeah. And what I mean, how are you different?
Okay. Firstly, I want to say that we have a 3 types of competitors. First one, it is long read, and like a rule, you using some searching, for example, best beaches in Mallorca, and can read long read, but it is like a rule just can understand several beaches. That's why it's not so useful, and like a rule, it's not so much beaches. And other one, it is similar like our project, but much more smaller. And the last one, competitors, it's like a Google, yes, because before we are creating our project, people can't find any other decision and it goes to the Google. Yeah, that. But our project, it's we can compare different beaches. You can filter it. You can have more than 50 parameters. You can list it. You can see the main information. It's also weather in the one places. It's much more useful. And now when we are creating, Google is not so useful like it was before.
Thanks.
Okay, quick question from Darren. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We've got about 30.
Yeah. Hi, Alex. Can you talk a little bit about how you monetize the path? So I noticed there's a stay feature in the workflow, but it's not quite clear to me how you generate revenue.
Okay, for monetization, we have two main ways. First one, it is advertising. And the second one is affiliate program. And affiliate program, the main partnership now it's the booking.com. But near time, we share of our partners for affiliate program. And future in several years, we will start a 16 cost per click that will increase our monetization in several times.
All right, thanks so much, Alex. We're going to bring up our next presenter. Thank you, judges. Go ahead and take your screens down. We'll be welcoming Ibu Salau from Direx as our next presenter. Ibu, if you could bring your screen up and your presentation, we will start the clock at 5 minutes when you start speaking.
Hey, Mona, if you could bring your camera down. Thank you.
Ibu, mute, and we can't see your presentation.
Just a second, please. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, as Ibu's coming live, I'm just going to remind the judges to please make sure that you're marking scores in your Google Sheets and make sure that you're tracking those as we go. Ibu, are you ready? We'll bring you up and live.
Ready.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see my screen now?
Good to go.
Okay, great. My name is Ibukun, and I'm the founder and CEO of Direx, and we are a startup building an operating system for hospitality businesses in Africa. As we all know, the hospitality industry in Africa is hugely significant, contributing an impressive $194 billion in GDP from over 69 million tourists that visit yearly, and creating more than 25 million direct and indirect jobs in the process. As interesting as that sounds, we believe that Africa's tourism growth is still hindered by a big but simple problem. The industry has not taken any real advantage of the digital revolution, with over 80% of hospitality bookings still being completed offline and through manual correspondences between these hospitality businesses and their customers. The displayed image captures a scene.
Sorry, Ibukun, we don't see your slides advancing.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's all good. We're still in the first one.
Can you see now?
Yeah, and I've paused your time, so feel free to pick up.
Yeah, so hospitality. So the displayed image captures a scene from one of Nigeria's most popular tourist destinations with more than 200 annual visitors. It showcases the existing booking system where a chalkboard is used to display prices while bookings are accepted in person and payments are facilitated through bank transfers. Our solution to this problem is an all-in-one business management software. And what we
I'm
have
not
done.
advancing.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Oh,
And
there
what
we
we
go.
have done. So our solution to this problem is an all-in-one business management software. And what we have done is build a digital tool for every operational activity, such as payment collection, booking management, customer relationship, inventory management, etc. And then integrate them with one another to enable hospitality business owners in Africa manage and grow their business online, directly, and in a way that works for them. Given our collective over 6 years of experience spanning product, engineering, sales, and business growth, coupled with our invaluable domain knowledge from working in the African travel industry, we are the ideal team to tackle this problem. I have over 4 years of experience building digital products, including AfriTrip, which was an online marketplace for tourists to find and book vacation packages to in Africa. My co-founder, Oluwatobi, has over 6 years of software engineering experience, and my other co-founder, Oladapo, has over 6 years of experience working in travel as a destination consultant, as well as leading sales and business development at various online travel agencies. Currently, our revenue model involves charging a 0.5% fee on each payment completed through our platform. As part of our upcoming initiatives, we plan to introduce a premium version later this year, catering to those seeking enhanced functionalities. This
Please
premium
advance your slide again. Sorry.
is advanced.
There you go.
So this premium offering would entail a monthly subscription fee of about $30 in addition to the existing booking fee. Since launching an MVP in May 2022, we are currently piloting with 25 businesses, mostly small-scale hospitality businesses, many of whom we found through email marketing and direct in-person sales. We are backed by global institutions that include the Emission Accelerator, where we secured a $5,000 grant. We are also garnered support from institutions such as Technation UK, Barclays Bank UK, and the African Youth in Tourism Summit, where we ranked among the top 5 finalists in their Innovation Challenge, amongst many others. In terms of competition and differentiation, our product offering is tailored for Africa, and we have the lowest barrier to usage and also the lowest fees in the market. We are also one of the first to enter the African market, and our product has a high switching cost, making it difficult for our customers once they start using our product to switch to a competitor. We're looking to raise, how can you be of help to us? We are looking to raise a $200,000 pre-seed round of funding. You can also use us. So if you run an hospitality business, we would love to talk to you. And you can also refer us. If you are seated with an hospitality business or work in a tourism-related government department, we would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibukun. Judges, please come on up. All right, Loe, would you like to ask the first question? I know we didn't get around to you last round.
Sure. I wanted to ask, so do you have an idea of the penetration you have in the markets you operate in? So is there a reason why others don't use direct? Do they already have some sort of software or data stack that they're using?
Yes, so right now, many of the businesses in Africa currently use like pen and paper spreadsheets. A couple of them also have like bespoke softwares that was built specifically for them. So the problems with that is any sort of update that needs to be done requires going back to the engineering team or having an in-house engineering team, which can be quite expensive. And on the list of our competitors, only Tripesa is building solely for the African market. Every other company, Bokun, Redsd, and Treksoft are building for a global market with just scanty operations across Africa.
Just have a small question. Is PMS part of your solution, or you integrate with a hotel PMS, or you recommend a certain Africa-friendly PMS?
So at this point in time, we only target hospitality businesses that run a booking-based operation. So we don't deal with properties at this point in time. So right now, our customers are like tour operators, museums, gardens, art galleries, national parks, etc. So we don't do hotels, we don't do apartments, we don't do properties.
Hi, Buku. For further to Mona's question, for those tour operators or base operators, what's the baseline technology that they need to have in place to deploy your platform to start managing bookings for their business?
So they don't need to install anything. All they just need is a computer or a mobile phone. So our system is web-based. They don't need to install any software at all. And we've built our solution with an hybrid model in mind, whereby they can continue to do their offline activities but in an online manner. So for example, they currently manage their bookings by writing the bookings down on paper. So we built our system such a way whereby they can still collect this payment offline, but then they can now manually enter the booking onto our booking management system.
Okay, thank you.
And payment is transacted through your platform.
Yeah, so in terms of payment, we allow two options. So one, they can accept the payment offline via cash and input the payment details online. And we've also integrated with two of Africa's biggest payment gateways, Paystack and Tripesa. So we allow these businesses connect their existing payment gateways to their direct accounts.
So just the last question here before the time's out. I wanted to know what the impact of using directs is on conversion, on boosting business for your clients.
So in terms of using, right now, we are more focused on helping them manage their business as against to helping them get more customers. But the impact that we foresee is the fact that we allow them to be more professional, which helps, because obviously in the African market, trust is still a big issue. So professionalism helps these businesses get more customers and enables their customers have a little bit of more trust in them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ibukun. Thank you,
Thank you very
judges. All right, thanks everybody. Next up, we have Janine Salome. Janine is co-founder and CEO of Travel Creators. Janine, if you could bring your presentation up, and judges, if you could please take your video down. We'll welcome Janine to the stage, and you'll have 5 minutes as soon as we see your presentation is up.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Large online travel agencies are stuck in the older travel paradigm. They have failed to attract and inspire the next generation of travelers who seek authentic, meaningful travel experiences. I'm Janine Salome, co-founder of Travel Creators, reimagining the future of travel. Meet Geeta, a 23-year-old solo traveler seeking an authentic and meaningful multi-day travel experience. But she's quickly left deflated and overwhelmed with information, inundated with bland booking sites and cookie cutter packages. Meet Misha, a 28-year-old travel creator, passionate about meaningful travel. But as Misha shares her content with her audience, she has no idea how to monetize her travel experiences. The solution is Travel Creators. Our marketplace empowers creators like Misha to inspire and curate travel experiences for the likes of young travelers like Geeta in a seamless, safe, and modern way. We launched MVP with incredible traction, deep insights, user insights from our community, acquiring creators with zero acquisition costs. Our community now boasts over 1,700 travelers, while our platform has attracted over 200 creators and a growing creator waitlist. We enable a community of creators with modern tools and direct access to curated inventory with travel partners, enabling them to monetize their travel audience and showcase their intimate knowledge of travel through technology. Travelers like Geeta are inspired with authentic and meaningful adventures, curated by passionate and trusted creators, allowing them to customize and book multi-day trips in a modern, safe, and exciting way. Our business model is asset light with strong network effects and partnerships within the travel and the creator community. We're focused on commissions and future subscriptions. We are using our platform as a force for good by empowering creators to turn their passion for travel into an income. We're at the intersection of a $9 trillion travel economy and a $4 trillion creator economy, of which 2 billion alone are solo female travelers like Geeta and Misha. Our next-gen marketplace will drive scale, liquidity, and quality into the travel and creator economy. by truly giving the power to the creator to grow and monetize their travel audience. We have a solid growth path of becoming a $1 billion travel marketplace with over 35,000 travel creators transforming their passion for travel into a meaningful income. With the backing of Founders Factory and Techni Infinity Ventures, we're looking to raise $1 million for key milestones over the next 24 months, with our goal of 10,000 inspired trips by 2024. With an incredible 21-year journey at Flight Centre Travel Group, a massive $27 billion multinational travel company, I was the youngest female managing director navigating the stormy seas of the 2009 financial crisis. But along with a world-class team, we steered the Southern Africa business to great success. My co-founder Shanti, along with our global advisors and backers, are driven by a shared belief in revolutionizing the travel and creator economy. With a global network in travel and hospitality, but with the heartbeat of our vision, which echoes strongest in Africa, it's our electrifying passion to grow travel and the creator economy within the Southern African continent. We're embracing this excitement and we're excited for the next 5 years where travel and creator economy knows no bounds. So, in summary, imagine the uncharted landscapes, the untold stories, the transformative experiences waiting to be unveiled. Picture the continent of Africa, where creators become the guiding light, where they unite cultures and they ignite the spark of a wanderlust in the hearts of the next generation of travelers. So let's together inspire profound connections and redefine the future of travel within the travel and creator economy. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, thanks very much, Janine. Fantastic presentation and right under time. Well done. All right, we'll invite all the judges to come back, and who would like to ask the first question? Orly, please.
I'd like to. Hi, Janine. Well done.
Hi.
I have a question. So you said you have trusted creators. Can you take us through how do you screen your creators? What makes that authentic?
Very good question. So as part of our creator community, we have creators who are influencers, we have creators who are travel agents, we have creators who are travel advisors. So in terms of how we've categorized that is we work with vetted creators who have a audience, who have content from an influencer perspective. And it's not your big influencers, it's either nano or micro influencers who are super passionate about travel. Then from the vetting with travel providers or travel agents or travel agents or travel advisors, these are individuals who have been in the industry but want to go on it on their own and create their own customer base. So we do have a vetting process of how we choose and who we choose to work with based on their travel experience.
And that's why you have the waiting list.
That's correct. We bootstrap startup, so we do what we can work with, and the waitlist is for our next scale period, specifically out in South Africa and the UK.
Is the solo female traveler your main target? I mean, I'm a solo female traveler, but is that your main target? You mentioned it more than once.
Yeah, so what we've seen and what our data has shown is 65% of our travelers are female solo travelers, but 85% of our creators are female. So, in terms of what the data has shown us in this point in time, that's where we've put our focus.
Okay, Darren or Loe, do either of you have a question? Darren, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about the monetization. So you talked about sharing with the creators. Can you talk a little bit about how your side of the equation generates revenue?
Yep. So based on our commission structures with our preferred partners and suppliers, we then give a cut to the creator, but not all creators are equal. So some of the creators only want to inspire and send through leads. So they get a commission cut based on how they've dealt with that specific lead generation. However, some of the travel agents want to take more control around the customer experience and the selling, where they use our tools and digital, and therefore the cut is slightly different. On average, between 2.5% to 7% is what we share with our creators, depending on the creator.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe
Darren.
a last question here. So what's your counter positioning versus, Google or now ChatGPT and other landing sites where travelers typically start their planning journey?
Well, what's the data shown us is there's 64% of the current travelers, next-gen travelers under 30 are searching on social media, but they're searching through the travel creator or the influencer. So in terms of that, the creator is the secret sauce, and these creators are the ones that are growing their audience through really good content because they are passionate about travel. And that's kind of the key strategy, is finding the right creators with the right audience, targeting the right traveler.
All right, thanks very much. Thank you for all the great questions. Judges, please make sure that you're marking your sheets. Thank you, Loe, Darren, Mona, and Aurelie. And thank you, Janine, for your presentation. All right, we are moving on to our next segment, which is Europe. And we will be welcoming a new set of judges. But before we do that, I just would like to remind everyone who's joining us now that if you're watching the presentations, they are limited to 5 minutes for each innovator. We'll have 3 minutes of Q&A from our panel of judges, and then we'll move on to the next innovator. Europe's judges are backstage now. So we have Jose Diaz from the United Nations. We have James Lemon from Stripe. We're welcoming Adi Kawadio from Expedia Group and Jan Valentin from EMEA Capital Partners as our judges. Welcome to all of you. Our European innovators will be kicked off today with Frederick Rubens. Hi, Frederick. We'll ask you to bring up your presentation. Judges, you can keep your video. You can keep your video off until we get to the question period, which will come up after Frederick gives his presentation. Frederick, you'll have 5 minutes as soon as we see your presentation is up and live. And when you start speaking, we'll start the clock.
All right, sounds great. Greetings, everyone. So excited to be here. All right. All right, travel. Travel is how humankind gets most in touch with the environmental and social wonders of the world, but also with their fragility and our own role in sustaining it all. Because without sustainability, traveling eventually stops. Nonetheless, partaking in transport, tourism, and hospitality today inevitably means making unsustainable choices. So that's the paradox that we need to solve. In order to arrive at a sustainable world, we all need to be able to make more sustainable choices. And today, however, choices remain difficult due to lacking or insufficient data. To be sure, travelers do increasingly demand and reward sustainability, especially driven by employer travel policies. For instance, hotelbeds.com found that the traveler conversion rates has become 3 times higher for sustainability certified hotels. Yet supplying these choices involves an entire domino chain of actors, from marketplaces backwards to accommodations, subsidiaries, and suppliers. And for each of these actors, sustainability data management is an insanely complex, fragmented, and yet somehow still manual nightmare. Imagine a gazillion spreadsheets, emails, and heavy unconnected systems conducted by non-experts on top of all other responsibilities. This holds back the evolution and communication of sustainability credentials, meaning fortunes lost in costs and missed revenues. But that's what we're fixing for the travel ecosystem with the Because Hub, which unifies and automates sustainability data and workflows holistically for not only your own company, but for your stakeholders too. For instance, if you're a hotel, our infrastructure enables you to automatically collect complex information from a wide variety of sources, coordinate and then transform it using our mapping algorithms, then communicate and put it to work wherever however, and whenever you need it, such as live on Booking.com or Expedia, or easily recertifying all your hotel properties with Green Key eco labels. On top of that, we're building an AI assistant that utilizes our uniquely large database to make tailored benchmarks and recommendations to empower these overburdened managers to act upon their sustainability challenges and ambitions. This also includes connecting with sustainability solution providers specializing in precisely what your business needs, such as an IoT solution that helps you reduce excessive food waste in your cafeteria. Vice versa for marketplaces like Booking.com, because now it enables collecting verified and pre-mapped sustainability data from all of your listed hotels, streaming live without lifting a finger. The outcome is transformative, since it slashes time and costs spent on data admin by 60%, while boosting ROI on new sustainability initiatives sixfold, improving bottom lines with millions of dollars already in year one. That's why leading brands like Radisson, Booking.com, and Google already rely on Because. And thanks to a network-based flywheel and a freemium business model, we have now built the world's largest live database of 22,000 sustainability certified hotels. And this momentum is propelling us forward with revenue growth surpassing 20% every month, and surpassing $250,000 in annual recurring revenue too, with strong scalable unit economics. And our market potential is vast and sequential. Initially, we've been strategically targeting OTAs, certifiers, and IOs in order to create the use case synergies that now are drawing in the hotels. From there, we expand to the rest of hospitality and the many other market verticals that face similar agendas. But none of this would be possible without this world-class team. We have a century of experience with developing complex IT systems for M&Es, leading sustainability and finance departments, driving commercial excellence, and advocating for smart, sustainable business as elected members of the Climate Committee at the Danish Industry Federation. Finally, we have established a customer advisory board with some of the industry's most influential players guiding the way for us because they share our vision and want us to succeed. And on this final note, I now look forward to speaking with you about how we realize the no-brainer of sustainable choices flowing throughout tourism. Thank you very much.
All right, bring up the judges.
So I hear from Kimberly that her microphone is not working, so I'll take over. Judges, please come on. Who wants to go first? Adi, I think that's a good topic for you.
I can go first, definitely. Thank you, Frederick, for this very interesting presentation. You talked briefly about your revenue, but you didn't really expand on what the model is. So what is actually your monetization scheme?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It makes a lot of sense. The reason why I didn't include it is because there are a couple bits to it. But at this point, it's all SaaS subscriptions, but with different types of packages for the different types of actors for the value props that comes with that. But for OTAs, for example, like Expedia, it's a subscription where there are different tiers depending on the types of categories of data that you want to stream from because and the hotels that we facilitated for. So is it the certification data or is it also the attributes like CO2 and so on, the granular stuff, and then validation on that. So that changes the pricing there, and then the amount of brands that are within Expedia Group, for example. For the hotels, for everybody it's a freemium model, so you can start on zero if you like, but then upgrading depends on the number of properties that you have as a hotel, and then also what you want to do. Like the bigger companies, they really require an overview of all their hotels, such as the 6,000 in the core and so on, and then need to report to different additional frameworks like CSRD and so on. So being able to map and access those features, and in the future also the AI assistant brings us to different tiers of that. For certifiers, they also pay a price for facilitating the data that has been their responsibility earlier of getting the hotel data to Expedia and so on. Now that goes via us because we solved the many-to-many problem that they had before, automating that. And then we have a certification process module as well that allows both hotels and certifiers to save a lot of time and cost in automatically reusing the data that we have.
Frederick, really quick one for me. Firstly, great presentation. I really like the idea of kind of mapping across that flywheel. But it strikes me that within each of those quadrants, a huge amount's already been invested by those parties in almost kind of branded schemes, and they're quite precious about, hey, this is how we want to do this. So how are you thinking about buy-in, particularly around, say, kind of the hotel chains or other standards and schemes, and then the OTA space? Would love to kind of know what kind of barriers you're getting to growth, and how you're thinking about them latching onto your products, I suppose, in addition to what they're building themselves.
Thank you, James. Really good question, especially because that's ironically the most valuable thing about what we do is that it's all inclusive of that. So we both have the custom reporting frameworks that the hotels have on their own, and then we have an algorithm that maps to all the other standards, because essentially there's a lot of overlapping questions and metrics that just needs to be transformed, for example, in terms of unit of measurement and so on, and then repackaged to fit those different scopes. So what we do is that we automate the reusability across all of those standard and custom frameworks, and that means that, for example, for Radisson Hotel Group, they make a gross list that includes both their own and the other scopes that it needs to report into, and that makes it really easy to couple on. And then in terms of existing investments that they've made, we have such a great open API set up that we can easily integrate to all of their master data systems, their supplier systems, et cetera, and then we become kind of like the single source of truth for it all. But then they both import and export data different ways depending on what they also like to do.
Thank you, Frederick, and thank you, judges. Kimberly, are you back on? You want to take over? We hear you. Okay. Back to you,
Great.
Kimberly.
Thanks very much, Walter. Thanks very much. All right, we are going to move on to our next participant for today, and I am going to pull it up right now. So sorry, so I've just gotten back on.
We've got Alex Barros.
Yes, I'm
Thank
here.
you.
Sorry.
All right, Alex.
Here we go. I'm ready.
Okay, you've got 5 minutes on the clock. As soon as you start presenting, we will start the timer. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us. So I'm from Hotelverse, and I lead growth and innovation and relationships with investors. And we are just over a year and a half old. It's actually a company that started within Iberostar, which is an European hotel chain. And what we have actually done within Iberostar was trying to change what has been the same for the last 20 years. The booking experience is not specific, it's not emotional, it's not authentic. What you buy is usually not what you get. And every other industry has evolved. So if you think about, even Amazon, you can choose shoes and customize them. You can select a seat in an airplane or a stadium or a concert. And when you think about hotels, you still are unable to do it to a level that you actually go to the Caribbean and you have no idea where you'll be staying. You just have a room category. So what we've done is trying to get the pain, the frustrating process, and the powerless process that the customers go through when making a booking. Especially because not all rooms are the same. So this is the same hotel. This is the Waldorf Astoria in Dubai. And this was the room that my colleague stayed in. I arrived and charged the receptionist, and that's what I got. It was exactly the same price. I would definitely pay more for this one, but obviously the hotels weren't geared up to actually make that kind of decision there at the front desk or even during the booking process. So what's normal for the hotel is that the price is really the only driver, and it's very hard for hotels to actually depict and explain the differentiators between one room and the other. So the consequences are quite dire. There's massive leakage in profitability of 40% on the opportunity of bookings that could potentially be converted on the hotel's website. And this opportunity is
right now, if let's say out of 4 people that visit your website, only 1 books, and 3 of them go back to the OTAs. So if you actually use our technologies, we really convert lookers into bookers, and we can actually add 30 to 60% in the conversion rate on the hotel's direct website. And not only that, that equates to about 12% on the EBITDA of the property. The way we do it is very simple. We create a digital twin of the hotel that basically depicts all the different attributes the hotels have and all of the different venues, and all the content that the hotel has buried on the website is literally made available. We've got a Netflix-like content experience where you click through the different parts of the hotel and you can literally select what you like and what you don't. And you can then be guided to actually make a booking with what you would like to do. We are not a booking engine. We are literally an API layer that sits on top of the PMS, CRS, and the booking engine that the hotel has. And we've got the ability to scale because we've managed part of our secret sauce that we've managed to create a way to build hotels without having to go to the destination and do it ourselves. So we're building hotels all over the world, not necessarily having to fly over as we used to do when we used to do it within Iberostar. Our integration is quite simple. We do via iframes on hotelwebbrand.com. So basically, once we create that, we put that on the website, and we also have to do the booking integrations with the booking engines. And that's literally something that's a little bit more tricky, but it takes anything from 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the complexity of the integration that's going to be coming. I'm going to show you quickly, while I finish talking here, exactly how you actually see a digital twin. So you're actually able to flip around the property and see all the different let's say venues and restaurants and all the content that the hotel has. Even if you have, let's say, VR, or if you have Headbox or Matterport, all of that can be plugged in and served to the customer in a way that the customer can actually really immerse himself in the property and understand what he's actually buying. And that is what makes hotels get a better conversion rate on their website. We have 3 instances of the product. The digital twin, which is content only, choose your room post booking, and book your room during the booking process. The impact, like I said, is 30 to 60%. There's a 92% customer satisfaction. Our business model, which I'll show it to you in a second, is we've got 2 different separate business models for hotels. We've got one that's enterprise and one that basically it's for any hotel that doesn't want to have a lot of risk. So you have a flat fee plus a commission on the generic model. And we have a flat fee per property, per room per month, that we basically charge, for example, for customers that are large hotel chains. We also have, these are some of our customers. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much, Alex. Great presentation. I'm sure you'll be able to answer some more questions with the judges as they come on up. So we have Jose, James, Adi, Jan, and I'm sure they all have some questions for you. Who'd like to kick us off?
Yeah, I guess I'm happy to go. So so great product, and it looks fantastic. You mentioned not going to the hotel, but I guess I'm really keen to see, how do you think about mapping individual rooms beyond, say, a view? You know, different rooms have different features, different sizes. What else do you think is important in the world of attribute selling, and kind of where else might you be going with that in the next couple of years?
Well, we are working with some very exciting projects around the world that are very much focused on attribute selling. And what we've done so far, you can select the different attributes during the booking process. You want a room with, let's say, with a view to the sea and to the sunset, and you're actually able to pick those rooms. And we create this layer of attributes within our platform, which means the PMS doesn't have to be, let's say, ripped apart and done within the PMS. So we create this virtual layer that enables this transition of technology to really enable attributes-based selling using our technology. And we believe that this is going to be definitely something that customers want more and more, because we've seen some of the hotels that have launched our digital twins, enabling guests to choose attributes. Some of the hotels have had, 500, 1,000% on the first day of launch of the property, launching the digital twin. So we know the impact is there and it's huge.
Okay.
Other question, do you have any competitors?
So I guess it depends really what you look at competitors. I mean, we don't have anybody that does exactly what we do, building digital twin, integrating with booking engines and making it available with any booking engine. There are other, let's say, players that do similar stuff to us that are quite cool. If you see, look, for example, at what Gecko Digital is doing, I mean, they were doing similar things, but they're like in a different perspective. We've got some boutique players doing it as well, but really like doing what we're doing, specializing in hotels and doing integrated with the booking engine as a differentiator for hotels. We don't have any competitors right now, but we're definitely sure we have lots of competitors because we believe this is the future of hospitality.
Indeed, there's actually Google Immersive View that was just launched a couple of months ago. So I see kind of let's say a bit of a stretch. You're a bit more granular, but there might be maybe a near competitor, close competitor.
What's the name of it? Google View?
Google Maps Immersive View for points
Okay.
of interest.
Yeah, cool.
Jose, do you have a question?
Yeah, I would love to ask you regarding other segments in the market that you would love to go in the future, taking into account that, for example, tourism is about up to 80 to 85% about SMEs. So have you thought in that way into more small hotels in the future?
Yeah, I ran out of time, but yes, we're looking at destinations, which is very exciting.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. And we're going to move on to our next innovator, Human Gudarzi from Zitlin Technologies. Human, please bring up your screen. Judges, please take down your videos and make sure you're marking your scores in the Google Doc. Human, as soon as your presentation is up, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock and start the timer.
Great. Thank you very much, Kimberly. And hello. I'm going to start with, if you look at travel, the future travel insights like demand, willingness to pay, and pricing are incredibly valuable. You can decide on which routes to deploy if you're an airline, which routes to deploy an aircraft seat. You can optimize your flight, hotel, car pricing. You can develop traffic at your airport. You can run destination campaigns with much higher conversion rates. You can deploy lucrative fintech products like Book Now, Pay Later. Knowing what's going to happen in the future is pretty essential for revenue generation and profitability. And yet, I think it's pretty underworked on. I haven't seen enough focus on this. And this is the primary focus of Zitlin. My name is Human. I'm co-founder, CEO of Zitlin. We are industry and venture-backed travel AI startup based out of Geneva in Switzerland. And we started about 2 years ago to build an AI platform from scratch specific to travel, to be able to tell customers about the future behavior of travelers, competitors, and markets. And since then, we attracted some of the finest engineers in Europe, and our team got the backing of tier 1 VCs like Plug and Play and Velocity Ventures. And we moved through several iterations of our AI platform. And we started working with some of the largest travel brands globally, resulting in double-digit revenue uplift for them. So we tripled our revenue since the start of the year, and we've doubled valuation since our last financing round. The problem we solve is rather simple to explain, but so difficult to solve. It's to predict customers' intent, willingness to buy, and willingness to pay, and the future behavior of competitors and markets. And solving these problems renders significant outcomes for our customers. In terms of size, what's interesting is that the future uncertainty is a common theme across many segments in travel. So if you look at airlines, airports, tourism, destinations, organizations, OTAs, you name it, this is a common theme. And it's a big theme. If it's just a subset of the total addressable market here is about 47 billion. So how did we solve this problem? We created an AI prediction as a service product where our customers can subscribe to geographies they're interested in, while allowing prediction configurations to be adjusted by our customers to match their specific needs. And the platform is automated, is completely autonomous with automated pipelines and with wide range of data sets that are coming in to train the platform and continuously retraining. And in parallels, we do continuous model deployments and updates. And the outcome is then provided to customers through cloud access, web app access, or API access, which is being rolled out in the remainder of the year. This is just a snapshot of our web application. In terms of roadmap, there's a lot of things we want to start predicting in addition to what we already do in our prediction library. One of them is, for example, price predictions, which is quite lucrative, and there is only one competitor we have worldwide who introduced this service, and their valuation went up by a factor X, I believe, and they're based out of the US. And I think the main reason for that was the enablement of fintech products with price prediction services. That's just one of the examples of one of the things that we want to add to our library that we have as of today. In terms of the performance, this is quite important for us that we get things right. The performance of the platform is really unparalleled, and so we worked really hard on this. Here's 3 examples of markets that are incredibly difficult to predict, and I'm going to go through it quite fast. But what you see here, the purple dotted line is what we predicted. The orange line is what actually happened. And then what makes us unique? Autonomous AI platform is incredibly hard to build. We've built it from scratch. The performance of the platform, its accuracy and reliability, and of course the team's knowledge. And the team is shown here. So if you ask me what's our secret sauce, this is our secret sauce. And what's also interesting is that we have some quite interesting, apart from our venture partners, we also have some world-class individual private investors who have joined our board and are helping us in our journey, like Kurt Eckert, CEO of Sabres, Julia Zattel, former president of Amadeus, Amir Amidi from Plug and Play, Elias Murad from Sotaris. So we're quite happy of our secret sauce, the team, and also the industry backing that we have. With that, I would say nothing is random, so let us help you navigate the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, great presentation, Hooman. We have, I'm sure, lots of questions from our panel of judges. So who'd like to kick us off? Let's maybe start with Jose. Do you want to go first this time?
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Could you please let us know a little bit more on the revenue model for you, on how you monetize, please?
Sure. So we have a subscription very similar to SaaS subscription. You subscribe to the geographies you're interested in, and you can change that subscription as you go along. And we charge you according to the scope of the geographical selection.
Thank you very much.
It's a quick one for me, obviously. I think I can see making good traction in airlines, and revenue management is such a hot topic right across the travel space right now. But there's a lot of people having a go at it already. I'd say airlines would say they've already been doing revenue management pretty well for a couple of decades. I'm always conscious there's dozens of data sources, right? That sounds like you're now one. You grab banking card data, you can grab advanced booking data. How do you kind of navigate them integrating you into their existing revenue management setup? Like, what kind of role do you see yourself playing, and how do you kind of transition that change management for some of these like pretty big revenue management organizations?
I think for the very, very big ones, it's actually quite easy because we come around with something that is a very niche, best of breed product that is aggregating worldwide data sources from lots of data sources, both travel and non-travel data sources, macroeconomics, events, disruptions, restrictions, you name it. Airlines data, OTA data, med-surg data. So it's incredibly difficult for them to compete with it. They could, nothing is impossible, but they would have to buy all of those data sources, have a team that starts building an automated ML platform. It's just incredibly hard to do, and the business case is usually negative, even with the likes of Lufthansa Group and American Airlines, who have incredible workforce in data science, AI, and engineering. So I think that's where we come in. We're best of breed. We don't care about the business case when we subscribe to new data sets to train the models, a bit like ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure they don't care about the training, the cost of the training data sets they buy, because the outcome has a lot of economies of scale. We sell to many, and we only buy the data once that trains the models. And that makes it difficult to compete with.
And just quickly, do you expect to be the kind of main go-to source, or do you expect to mostly be consumed by API and then they build kind of bespoke models that's you plus other sources on top of it?
So we would want to place ourselves to become the go-to for prediction services. However, we do not want to go down the path of creating revenue management solutions or price recommendation solutions. We would like to feed into those with our prediction services. So for example, if you look at Hopper, they have price prediction services, and they've used it to create fintech products like Book Now, Pay Later, which is ending up being very lucrative for them. So we could be a strong threat for them because we're going to make every possible OTA shop. We're going to put them in a position to compete with Hopper because the difficulty of fintech products like Book Now, Pay Later is not so much the Book Now, Pay Later. It's predicting prices so you don't lose money, because Book Now, Pay Later is essentially a gamble. If you cannot underwrite the risk of the price evolution in the future, you're going to lose money. So that's how I see our positioning.
Hooman, thanks very much. I'm going to have to stop you there. Thanks to all of our judges, Jose and Adi and James, who's just popped off. And we're going to move on to the next category. Thanks again, Hooman, for your presentation. And we will be moving on to our wildcard, our second section of wildcard. So wildcard as a category, I've explained earlier, but I know a lot of you are joining us now. Wildcard is really looking at some new big innovations that are kind of next generation, a bit broader, maybe don't fit into a category. So Phocuswright and WiT have selected them to pitch and present as wildcard competitors in this presentation or in the competition. So this is our wildcard section number 2. We have a great slate of judges, including Kara Whitehill from Unlock Advisors, Gaurav Tuli from F Prime Capital Partners, Alice Ferrari from Kite, and Timothy O'Neill Dunn, T2 Impact. Hi, everybody. All right, I'll ask judges to take their screens down, and we'll bring up our first wildcard innovator, Jason Halberstadt from mytrip.ai. Jason, if you could bring up your presentation, we will start the timer as soon as you start speaking.
Hi there. My name is Jason Halberstadt, founder and CEO of Voyageport, and the parent company of mytrip.ai. And we provide AI chatbots and travel-specific language models and AI software solutions to innovative travel companies. And so I've been working for 25 years now in the travel industry, most of the time managing a digital marketing agency. And so we've been in the trenches, generating leads for hundreds of different companies. And in December of last year, had the open AI moment where we decided that the world was going to change and that we needed to not only use AI tools, but we needed to start making AI tools. So what does mytrip.ai do? We, I actually put that in, I made a prompt to ask to create what was maybe your first elevator poem in a pitch that you've ever seen. And here's how it came out. It's an enjoyable conversation. The world unfolds, guiding travelers on paths untold. Journeys that flow like a river song, where every traveler feels they belong. And so why is this important? Let's break this down a little bit. So I think that still people are trying to understand how AI is going to change the industry. And we need to reframe it as a series of conversations that can now happen seamlessly at scale and completely personalized. We're marketing to a market of one. Now we have the ability, or soon will have the ability to do that. So we really need to reframe in this way. Yeah. And so using AI for trip planning has really captured the imagination of travelers over the world in the last several months. We've had great growth and just shown a lot of demand and interest in the entire space. And so I think where the industry is right now, and the major problem is that everybody's being asked, what is your AI strategy? Yeah, and I think we actually have some good answers. And we're finding that the problems that most small and medium-sized company has is they just don't have the resources to learn and understand all these new technologies. They're very new. They need very specialized teams. And it's difficult from the start. And so we give travel companies an easy on-ramp to start using AI to grow your revenue and customer satisfaction. In April, we launched the set of tools that help people write types of content and customer interactions much more easily using AI. But now most of our focus is actually on chatbots and custom AI agents. And this is what's really going to change the industry and change the world, because now chatbots have not only the ability to maintain a conversation and give good customer service, but we can actually go out and do things in the world behind the scenes, like create itineraries, create quotes, flights, booking, everything essentially. And we can integrate using this technology, LangChain. If you remember one technology word today, LangChain. This is what is enabling the really, really amazing experiences that we're able to develop with chatbots these days. And we're able to integrate with almost any system that has an API or a database. Yeah. And so a lot of the time, what we spend most of our time doing is actually perfecting AI systems, because you get a demo chatbot is relatively easy, but then to get it actually working so that 100% is even a better experience than your current agents, it takes a lot of perseverance, testing, and that's what we're specializing in. And so we also think that custom AI agents plus human trip planners will win the battle for the ultimate travel planning experience. So we integrate with existing chat systems. So the chatbot is just like one operator in the system. And in the coming weeks, we'll be launching a self-service chatbot system. Right now, we are offering taking words for our team at enterprise chatbots, and that is much of our focus. And we're focusing mostly on travel agents, OTAs, tour operators, DMCs, and also specialty lodging, like a concierge sort of service. Okay. And we actually have a working demo that you can go and try out at mytrip.ai/chatdarwin. And you can carry on a conversation with Charles Darwin, use as a base of knowledge, letters he wrote, his publications, and he'll try to sell you a Galapagos cruise, and they can actually connect with an API to actually book a cruise online, which is something that you couldn't even do online shortly ago. And so, yeah, this is our team. Thanks so much for your time. Be in touch. You can go to mytrip.ai/invest and make a meeting.
All right. Thanks very much, Jason. I'm sure more questions will come out in the Q&A period with our judges, Kara, Gaurav, Alice, and Timothy, coming up online now. Who would like to kick us off? I'm sure there's some questions for this new technology. Kara, I see that look in your eyes. You can start us.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason. So we see a lot of AI trip planning services. Can you briefly focus on what is truly unique and different about what you're building versus the dozens of other ones that we see out in the market today? It's an exciting space, but it's very crowded. So what's unique and different from what you're building?
Absolutely. No, great question. What I've seen online of the trip planners so far, they're kind of a little bit more like demos than actual real products that an actual agency, travel agency or IT could actually use. And so what we're definitely focusing much more on like the initial conversation to really drill down to what the traveler wants and needs before actually generating an itinerary. And then after the steps after generating an itinerary, like a quote, and all the steps after that, I don't think there's existing solutions that are working in that area quite yet, as like a professional tool for travel agencies.
Jason, do you think that will be the case a few years from now? I guess we've seen people are moving very fast in this market, including some really well-funded incumbents as well.
Yes, absolutely. Really, yes. The technology is moving so quickly. We're testing out new technologies like literally every week, new stuff coming out, and Yeah, so the entire, I think right now it's largely behind the scenes because as I mentioned, actually getting a production quality bot is very challenging. Yeah, getting a demo, the wow demo that works half the time is not that difficult, but getting something that approaches 100%, of the status of what the guidelines of the chatbot owner wants is very challenging.
Yeah.
My question is a little simpler. You talked about the interaction with agents. Is that really the issue? Are you really there to make the agents more efficient, more productive? Or is there some other secret value that you think you can provide to travel agents so they stop being toast in front of all the online agents?
I think there will be a role for human agents for several years still, and over time AI will be really good at doing some things like getting requirements, collecting customer information, and so they'll do a lot of things that take up a lot of time for agents, and so agents will be able to do a lot more with less time.
Okay,
And
great. Alice, I'm going to come to you first on our next presenter. And thank you so much, Jason, for your presentation. Now, this next one is going to be a little bit different. We have Katharina Riederer, who'll be presenting for the next session. This is a recorded presentation, so just so you're aware, this one will not give us the option to it won't give us the option to ask questions, obviously, because she is not going to be here live. And I'm trying right now to ensure that we have sound and optimization, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. So I might ask my colleagues to try to reload that. And in the meantime, let's see if we can get, hold on one second here. My apologies. I'm gonna try. Okay. One moment here. Try one more time to see if we can get this presentation loaded.
Okay, so we hear it but can't see it right now.
You can hear it but can't see it. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
Climate change, we don't want to have time to wait until technology is ready to solve.
All right, if we just restart that and disappeared.
I'm sorry,
Rob, if
Jason.
you could go off camera for this one, thank you.
This pressure is being given down to come.
And try stopping the video first.
Gina, you playing the video? Sorry, I'm pulling it up as well, so I'm not sure if you're pulling it up also.
Sorry, yep. I can try.
Okay, I'm gonna I have it here, so I'm gonna try to pull it up one more time.
Hi.
There you go. No sound. That's all right. Let me try it.
Okay. Apologies, everyone.
So
Okay, and judges, just for this one, just as a reminder, we'll have commentary on this one, not questions, as soon as we get it up and live. Apologies for the technical glitch here. We should
You've
be
been
up and live in a
well,
minute.
Kimberly, so far. You've been just doing really well. Come on, we are
I
allowed.
know, a little hiccup every now and then, right?
Hi, I'm Kati, CEO and co-founder of Ecomio. I'm an engineer. I believe in technology, and I believe with technology we can solve any problem. However, with climate change, we don't have time to wait until technology is ready to solve our problem. Therefore, at Ecomio, we believe that we must dramatically alter our behavior, and the business travel industry carries a major responsibility here. This pressure is being given down to companies, especially in the EU regulations force companies with more than 500 employees not only to report on their targets, but also on their so-called transition plans to achieve those targets. What can company do? Offsetting is not a solution that's accepted by those regulations. Therefore, companies are starting to already adjust their travel policies. However, here we need to still leave some flexibility to the business traveler. So when it comes to the online booking tools, we see that this would be the solution to bring the flexibility and at the same time guide business travelers to the more sustainable solution. However, those providers are often having a partiality with the online industry. So how are we addressing this need now of the market? With Ecomio, we are empowering business travelers to opt for the greener option at the point of sale. We're giving them the necessary education, making them aware that with one intercontinental flight, they're using up all their CO2 budget according to the 1.5 degree target of the IPCC. We're giving social comparisons because everyone wants to belong to the better third of a group. We're bringing train options into pure flight views, and additionally, in order to finally close the gap between the intention and the action of business travelers, we're giving them personal benefits, aka incentives, because what we see is that 90% CO2 reduction goes along with cost reduction. So we have a budget basically to give an incentive to the business traveler. With our MVP, our first product version, we could even show already that 35% choose an eco-friendly option when they are nudged and therefore reduce their carbon emissions. Our business model is a SaaS fee, a yearly SaaS fee, which is based on our customer's flight view, where we see the potential of behavioral change. We're currently covering use cases air and rail in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and France, and are expanding further on new rail markets, but also new use cases like hotels and rental cars. We're targeting companies in Europe with a travel spend of more than 1 million euro, having pledged to climate targets like SBTi. And we're seeing that 20% of those companies actually within the German market are planning to introduce those incentives for sustainable business trips. Where are we standing? We have an enormous response rate on cold outreaches, so we see that there's a pressuring and unmet need here, and we co-created our product with the buyer persona of Deloitte. After 4 pilots, we could achieve 3 recurring paid contracts with Roland Berger, Dess and Kienbaum Consulting. There's 3 more currently that we expect to be signing until September, and additionally we started partnering up with Citric Amadeus, bringing in sustainability as their USP and the online booking tool. This is the founding team. We're all business travelers ourselves before founding, so we know what business travelers need in order to change their behavior. To finish up, I want to share with you some product KPIs that just came in. We're currently counting 700 weekly active users, and here's the impact that we had on those users so far. One of our customers was able to improve their train split, which is how many trains versus planes are booked, by around 60% across all routes before versus after the pilot with Ecomio. At the same time, business travelers who used Ecomio during their booking were demonstrating a 25% better train versus flight ratio. We will be raising our next round starting November 6th. So if you're an impact-driven early stage investor, please get in touch before this date. Here you'll find my contact details. I would love to discuss with you the next challenges of Ecomio.
Okay, judges, Ecomio, do we have any comments? Alice, would you like to kick us off with some of your thoughts?
Sure, and thanks. I think well done to Katy. It's obviously she's partnering with some really good companies. She's looks like she's done some real good pilots, and so she's doing all the right things. She mentioned that they have a budget from where the incentives come from, and then had she been live, I would have definitely asked her where this budget comes from, and is there an opportunity to partner with other companies in order to monetize these incentives on the other end for the travelers. Yeah, no doubt she's doing good. It's becoming a crowded space for sure, so she needs to watch out.
Right.
Yeah, I thought similar. I thought it was very interesting. We spent some time in this category. I think there's bringing transparency to the traveler is with data is ultimately like one of the best ways to drive better behavior. I do think that the offset market is kind of still a here and now, and I think a lot of the OTAs and a lot of travelers are paying attention to offsets, whether they're effective or not, but it is where the market is today. And so I do wonder if, to Alice's point, like it's crowded. There are a lot of folks focused on offsets that are locking up the distribution channels, so working already with some of the larger OTAs. Will they be in the best position ultimately to, go beyond offsets and offer other transparency in other areas? So, but I thought it was very interesting and well done.
Okay, Timothy, Kara, any quick comments?
I'll give a quick one that I agree it's crowded. I think that this is fundamentally the wrong approach, because I believe that the only solution here is government mandated approach. The German government has done a pretty good job of coming down that path, but this is a multi-country problem. So I think that this is one of many, and I think that one of them, there's very few of them that are going to be able to anchor themselves, because I've yet to see anybody come up with, this is how much emissions I've actually stopped. These guys are actually claiming that in 9 out of 10 of their business trips, they're saving something. I think that's not true. I just can't believe it.
Kara, quick comment?
Yeah, it's I do see a lot of these, and I mean I think it's good that we have a lot of these, right? Because we need a lot of ideas and a lot of solutions. I think I would like to see folks thinking beyond just the flight component of all of travel and where else we need to be looking that's beyond just sustainable aviation fuel and carbon offsets. I think there's a lot of other potential areas to poke around in, and I think that's kind of where the broader market becomes more interesting to me in the longer run.
Okay, great. All right.
There's clearly no silver bullet here. That's the problem. Right. Everybody thinks there is one.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points. Thanks, everybody. All right, we're going to bring up our next innovator. This is Darian Watson from SquadTrip. Darian, please come on and bring up your presentation. You'll have 5 minutes on the clock. We'll start the timer as soon as you have everything up and live and you begin speaking. So if you can get your presentation deck popped up on screen. We'll make sure you're all set. All right, looks good. We're ready when you are.
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Darian Watson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SquadTrip. I'm really happy to be here. Normally when I do live pitching and stuff like that, I like to ask by show of hands, who loves to travel? Now, unfortunately, I can't see you, so feel free to type travel in the chat if you love to travel. But I think I know the answer, and everybody loves to travel, right? So when I graduated from college, I felt disconnected. All my friends are spread across the country and even the globe. I'm sitting in my room feeling sorry for myself. I decided to do something about it. And I came up with the first thing that made sense, and just being able to connect with my friends, and that was to host a group trip with 10 of my closest friends. Now, for that trip, I did the planning. I did the organizing. I started collecting money in installments from PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. And then I had to track everything and then communicate with all the vendors and then all my friends in a group chat. Now, let me tell you, it was worth it. We had a great time, but it was a headache. It really, really, really was a headache. Now, imagine what that's like for a travel agent that's planning a group trip, not for 10, but for 70 people. Not once a year, but dozens of times a year. They've got to spend 30% of their time sending out invoices, receipts, reminders, updating spreadsheets, tracking who's paid what and who owes what, as opposed to focusing on that experience. Ultimately, we saw this problem and we decided to solve it because it was a huge problem, not just for us, but for travel agencies and tour operators worldwide. So that's where SquadTrip comes up. SquadTrip is the all-in-one group travel sales platform that helps you manage group trips like a pro. Helps you grow your group travel business with the all-in-one marketing, booking, and auto billing platform. Now, like I mentioned before, we started out with group trips. Me and my friends, we've scaled up from a 10-person trip to a 50-person trip to a 500-person trip. But it doesn't have to start with us. We're actually targeting the 85,000 travel agencies in the US who have this problem. But like I mentioned, this can be used for bachelor parties, small gatherings, birthday trips, family reunions, you name it. And since launching in February of 2022, we've garnered over $2.7 million in gross bookings. To date, we're doing over $250,000 in gross bookings on our platform, and we're revenue positive with about 75K in ARR. Proud to say that comes from 90 travel agencies who are booking trips, generating revenue on our platform. Our pipeline is warm, and ultimately, we're seeing like 70% of these travel agencies booking, creating second, third, and fourth trips on the platform. So that's pretty exciting. Not to mention, we're backed by Techstars, Form Ventures, and Atento Capital. So how we make money is simple. It's two ways. The platform is free to use to build out your trip page, to set up your payment and booking operations, to set up auto billing, and ultimately, we make money through transaction fees. So every dollar that comes through the platform, we charge a payment processing fee, and that's how we make money. Now, if you've seen the value, you want to manage your group trips like a pro, you want to take advantage of the customized solutions, customization features, then we'd upsell you to the premium or pro versions of the platform. That's where we are today. We haven't targeted the, I guess, the planning aspect. We want to actually bring in-house that part of searching for hotel blocks, experiences and blocks, flights and blocks, and just make that process easier. And then we can also go on to help with discovery and make money through commissions. So our competition, most of them are not really focusing on group travel. They don't have an all-in-one solution. And our team is built up of myself. I've got over 7 years in the travel tech space. Before that, I was a product manager. My co-founder and CTO, who went on my first trip with me, he's a tech architect. We've also got an advisor from TripAdvisor and an advisor from Shopify on our team. And we recently closed our pre-seed round, $1.5 million about 6 weeks ago. Atento Capital, Techstars, and Form Ventures. So who's ready to take flight with SquadTrip?
Okay, great presentation, Darian. Judges are coming back on up. And I know we've got some questions. Let's start with Alice.
So Darian, great job. I used to screen startups in travel for a living, and I'm a travel founder myself, so I have a lot of empathy. So great work on the progress. I think whilst there's so many products that do flight search or booking, planning for a trip, no one's actually really cracked the group travel planning. And actually, your biggest competitor today is probably still Excel right now in the B2C space. So I think if you can really crack this, and it's great that you're starting with the B2B market first, you're onto something great. One question I have, I know that airlines have limitations for the amount of people you can book at the same time. Have you encountered this issue, and how are you tackling it, if so?
So right now, we don't, do discovery or like the planning for booking flights or hotels on the platform. The travel agents themselves are doing that offline. They're dialing up the hotels. They're dialing up the airlines. But we have a path to that. We want to work with Sabre, Amadeus, some of the players to bring that in-house. We'll have to sort of build out a bespoke, API system so you can search for blocks for flights and everything like that. And so that's a hairy problem. But because they have the relationships as our customers have those relationships and they're doing that already, we're just helping with that Excel part and collecting the money. And then we're going to move on to that next part. So I hope that answers your question. I think that we also have line of sight on partnering with a company called Allfly, actually, that helps you book flights for groups.
Thank you.
I've got a question for you, Darian, and I guess the question here is more related to the type of trip that you book. One of the biggest challenges, everybody kind of has an idea of how you move large groups of people from A to B, and it's fairly defined. The more difficult problem is the congregation, which is getting people to the same place from different places. What's your attitude towards that?
Yeah, so the beauty in it, we're selling shovels here. There are hundreds of thousands of tour groups and travel agencies that do group travel. They have their own ways of doing it. Ultimately, we have a platform that we can study and figure out, and our data will tell us like how that's working. And we've had trips that are as big as 500 on the platform to date, and really comes down to execution of those individual teams. And what we want to do is take those learnings and then share that with the other group travelers so that they can also improve their execution as well. But I think one of the big problems is just like what's just the capabilities on the ground. There might be some islands, some cities that just don't have those capabilities, and then so some places are just better grounds for group travel.
All right. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Thanks to the judges. Thanks to Darian and to all of our wildcard innovators. This concludes the segment for wildcard. Thanks again. Judges, please make sure that you log your scoring in your sheets, and we will see you again near the end. Thanks very much. All right. We are now moving on to the Americas. And we'll be bringing our judges up for America's panel. We're welcoming Stephen Snyder from JetBlue Ventures, sponsor for the Global Startup Pitch Competition. Ellen Kessler from Clear Sky Associates. Welcome, Ellen. Melissa Mayer, who's a consultant, has a long history in the industry. And Philip Lollis from Derive Ventures. Welcome to all of our judges for the Americas section. I'm sorry, and also Christy Choi from Plug and Play. Sorry, Christy, I almost missed you. So America's Innovators will kick off today with Stephanie Daniel from Legends. Stephanie, if you could bring up your presentation, you will have 5 minutes on the clock when we see your presentation up and ready. And then we'll have 3 minutes of Q&A from the judging panel. So as soon as you're ready to go, let us know and we'll start the timer.
All right. Can you see that okay?
We can.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Daniel, co-founder and CEO of Legends. I'd like you to imagine a world where our phones have become the operating system of humans, capturing your experiences as the most authentic representation of your values, your preferences, your soul. Now imagine that this data can be harnessed to power your exploration of the world in a way that truly suits each of us. We know that today's consumer wants more personalization in every aspect of life, the right thing at the right time, from music to fashion to travel. It drives the brands we engage with and where we spend our money. We know that access to customer preference data is the foundation to deliver it, but our current fragmented system fails us. Because of the disparate platforms and tools at every stage of the journey, valuable data is locked in silos. This leads to ineffective personalization, meaning travel providers are leaving more than $130 billion on the table and unable to optimize $5 billion of marketing spend. It's clear a new data source is required. First-party data is too limited. Third-party data is often generic, static, transactional, and no actionable insights. With cookies disappearing next year, it's only getting worse. We believe the future has to be zero-party data. That's where a customer intentionally and proactively shares data to a brand. Studies show that more than 85% of customers want to share more data in return for personalization, but we don't have the tools to do it. Legends provides an entirely new solution by transforming travelers' phone data into actionable, real-time preference profiles. We realized that we've had a huge behavior change as a society in the last few years. Think about it. We carry our phones every second of every day. More than 95% of us use them while traveling. We take more than 5 billion photos a day, generating 14 trillion pieces of metadata, like latitude, longitude, date, time. What if we could build a technology that captures this entirely untapped source of data with no effort from the traveler? So we did. Our proprietary patent-pending process transforms phone metadata into what we call your travel DNA, the deepest preference data set ever available to the industry. We're privacy first. Travelers opt in with a one-time authorization, deciding who to share it with and can revoke at any time. In our beta testing, more than 90% did. Also note, we scan the photo data and do not save the photos themselves. Travel DNA includes not just every city and country you've visited, but your preferences, like climate, seasonality, accommodation types, and much, much more. Your DNA evolves with you in real time, dynamically updating with every new experience. From landing to Vegas, taking a photo at Aria, Nobu, the spa, your DNA is updated. Vegas, sushi, nightclubs, luxury, warm climate in August, and more. So with this information, imagine what a travel provider can do to provide the right offer at the right time to the right person at all stages of the journey, from automating onboarding to recommendations based on your DNA before and in real time, as well as ongoing engagement afterwards. All of this leads to higher conversion, meaning higher revenue and more effective marketing, efficiency, saving precious time and money, and improved engagement, loyalty, and overall traveler experience. We've created the first AI engine that collects, processes, and transforms phone data into actionable preference profiles. Our business model is simple. We're a B2B SaaS subscription business model with an initial focus on an API that seamlessly integrates with the provider's existing flows and systems. Looking bottoms up across key travel segments of providers from hotels, agent networks, tour operators, OTAs, airlines, loyalty programs, we see a TAM of more than 12 billion. Our go-to-market strategy focuses initially on advisor networks, DMOs, lifestyle hotels, as well as partnering with existing tech providers to the ecosystem, like Muse on the property management system side. We've proven we can execute with limited resources and high efficiency. Our beta validated the collection process of the DNA and that more than 90% of travelers share access to the data. We've had meetings with over 100 industry providers, with more than 90% indicating a desire for this type of data. We're currently building our B2B pipeline and will soon have 3 development partners engaged for pilots. Our ultimate vision is Legends becoming the marketplace for traveler data. We will be the centralized hub, creating the DNA passport for travelers and the GDS of traveler data for the industry. We previously raised with Angels, Trip Ventures, and became a Techstars portfolio company. We're building relationships for our upcoming pre-seed round, which will enable our launch to 50 partners and monetization. Our DNA will include a new impact metric to help promote sustainable practices, empowering travelers and brands to make conscious, data-driven choices across awareness, partnerships, and governance. Our mission-driven team combines my 15 years of management and finance, my co-founder Shayna's 10 years in tech, go-to-market, and product, and our CTO's 10 years AI and data experience. We're amplified by our legendary board, bringing more than 200 years of industry intel and networks across travel, data. And together, we're creating a new data layer for our ecosystem that puts the human first. No longer will travelers be treated as transactions, but as complete value-based individuals with control over their data. We move from a fragmented, inefficient system to a centralized source of truth, from travelers on the outside to collaboration that respects privacy. By unlocking experience. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Stephanie. I'll have to stop you there.
Of course, happy to take questions.
That's great. We'll bring up Stephen, Ellen, Melissa, Philip, and Christy to ask some questions. Who'd like to start us off?
I'll go first.
All right, thanks.
So Stephanie, obviously super cool. have lots of concerns about the privacy stuff. I mean, from the opt-in, it looks like you just are asking to share your picture data or your pictures. I'm not sure do people really understand what it is they're sharing? So that's my first question. And then my second question is, you obviously have all their history, which is awesome. I think one of the other big things is intent data, travel intent data. And do you have that, or what are your thoughts about the importance of history versus intent?
Absolutely. So firstly, on the privacy and security, it's the foundation of everything that we do. So firstly, it's the opt-in consent and transparent communication about what data we are capturing and who it's being shared with. And as you said, photos is the core place of where we're starting. Location data is the other input currently. Over time, we have a roadmap of increasing the inputs. The other pillar is limited storage. So we don't save the photos, we're simply scanning the data and transforming that. And then our security protocol, we use AWS, and over time, we see potential for actually Web3 and blockchain solutions to ensure privacy and be this bridge of Web2 and Web3 for the industry. But it really is core to everything that we do. It was the first thing we tested in our MVP. More than 90% of people did opt in. And I think that we are on this societal shift of needing a new data paradigm, where instead of people sharing their data in the ether without really knowing, we're returning control. And I think there's a real desire for that. Secondly, on the intent piece, as you say, it's all of your past data that is instantly captured on onboarding, and then it's updated in real time. From that, our predictive analytics capability is building the intent piece of it. And that's exactly, so we know, that 60% of our travelers that were in Costa Rica in December are probably wanting to go to Lisbon in June this year, for example. And so that is absolutely a core piece of what we're delivering.
Okay, great. Melissa, do you have a question? We've got about a minute left.
Yes, I was going to ask, you've got a, love this. You've got a go-to-market strategy with, several partners. Beyond your initial go-to-market strategy, how are you going to get the larger airlines, hotels, et cetera, that make up a bulk of travel hooked on this?
Yeah, I think it's been so interesting as we've got more integrated in the industry. There is, I feel like, a universal recognition that customer data is a huge challenge across all of the segments of the industry, and having that complete picture. And so anything from small providers to the really large providers in the ecosystem, our strategy is to prove it out with some of the smaller ones, or run smaller pilots for the large entities, and then scale up and leveraging our relationships and validating ourselves with case studies as we expand. So we absolutely see ourselves being a solution provider to the smaller and the larger players.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. I will have Christy and Philip and Stephen go first on the next round. Thanks very much. All right, if you could please log your scores in the Google Sheets, just so we're on top of that. We're going to welcome Irving Bitesh, co-founder of Cyan, to speak next. So go ahead, Irving, and we'll get you started with 5 minutes on the clock as soon as you're ready to speak. Judges, you may take your video down until the Q&A session at the end of the 5 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you, Kimberly. Cyan is a B2B SaaS platform that tracks, chases, and processes commissions for the travel industry, where 40% of commissions earned contain discrepancies or don't get paid. Cyan's primary focus is an agency's time and money, and ultimately provides the peace of mind needed to focus on what they should be: selling travel. I founded Cyan because I felt this problem firsthand. When I started my agency 11 years ago, I came into it with no experience or guidance. I was fortunate to have some success, but due to ignorance, I just assumed I'd be paid the money I earned. When that didn't happen, I was confused, and it led to certain false assumptions. But over the course of the next few years, my curiosity led me to learn that the root of this problem is a data problem, and our industry being entrenched to really outdated technology. So what exactly are the symptoms of this pain? First and foremost is data accuracy. Agencies get paid on the total revenue of a booking, which they have no insight into. If things change post-booking, which is very often the case, they are left in the dark and rely on manual processes to get their booking data to their back office systems, whether it's trams or an Excel sheet. Manual processes always lead to missing or inaccurate data. Reconciliation of payments received is a nightmare. Agency accounting departments don't get paid enough for the work they have to endure. Reconciling hundreds or thousands of payments per week with minimal reference info against inaccurate and incomplete data in the back office. This leaves agencies in a terrible place to chase the balance of their receivables. Some decide to avoid chasing at all, and the ones that do are chasing off bad data, wasting everyone's time, either writing individual emails or outsourcing to third parties, which are expensive and which they have no visibility into their chasing efforts. And all this is done using 40-year-old technology. Xeon is the tranquility the industry has been waiting for. Anything that touches the commission process is our focus. It starts with getting good data in the system. Xeon is live with the GDS, zero manual reliance. Any bookings made, changed, or canceled in the GDS are reflected in Xeon in real time. Bookings made manually over the phone or email can be manually entered in our system in less than 15 seconds, as opposed to over 10 minutes on other systems. And Xeon normalizes the data no matter the source for ultimate consistency in reporting. Our auto reconciliation may be our most impressive feature, saving accounting teams days of work per week. Xeon ingests any payment file and can match and reconcile thousands of payments in seconds. It not only reconciles with perfect accuracy, it also brings to your attention what they should be investigating and why. This leaves our customers with a true balance of what needs to be chased, and Xeon allows our users to send invoices to suppliers and clients directly through our system. Soon they'll be able to set their rules for commission chasing, and we'll do the rest. Last but not least is the experience and transparency on Xeon. Any system can have data, but Xeon is real time, and your data is accessible whenever and however you want it, in just a few clicks to all stakeholders involved. We're so excited to announce our latest two features that were added earlier this summer. The first is payment processing. Through a partnership with Flywire, all invoices sent via Xeon can now be paid. Recipients can pay by credit card, ACH, international wire, and funds get delivered in 1 to 2 days instead of 2 to 3 months, and they auto-reconcile in our system. One less thing for accounting to worry about. Even cooler are our live statements. Suppliers who receive invoices can now edit the invoice if there's a discrepancy on their end, and those updates get pushed directly into Xeon to fill in the gaps. As I alluded to earlier, the next big feature being released is auto invoicing. This will allow you to put commission chasing on autopilot by setting up your chasing rules. You just set it and forget it. Lastly, the most significant release this year will be our launch of Xeon for suppliers. This will give hotels and other travel suppliers the same automation, reporting, and data enhancement the agencies enjoy. Specifically, they'll be able to automate their commission payables process, and with access to their PMS, will be able to update agencies in real time to any changes made to their bookings. The results of our software are evident. We're now managing over $3.5 billion in booking revenue, which is up 10% since our previous pitch in May. We have over 3,000 monthly active users operating at 100% retention rate. We've had zero churn since January of 2022. Since the beginning of this year, we've 4x'd our ARR and officially became a preferred partner of Virtuoso. And most importantly, Xeon has helped our customers recover $30 million in delinquent commissions. That means only past due bookings, which are now paid and closed. We wouldn't be able to do this without an amazing team, and here are some of our core team members. We have a mix of people with vast industry experience, but just as important, non-industry people as well, who bring the fresh perspective our industry needs and who are always questioning the status quo. Here's some background on the money we've raised in the past, and we're raising our next round of funding by the end of this year. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much, Irving. Welcome back, judges. Come on up. So Philip, Christy, or Stephen, do you have a question? Christy, it looks like you have a question. Would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I'll try to go quickly. I have a two-part. So thanks, Irving, for your presentation. The first question would be the size of agencies that you're targeting. And then the second, I always like to understand kind of the back end. So what does the integration look like for those agencies to work with you?
Yep. So mostly up until now, our customers have been from the small to mid-size agencies, and we've just closed some larger enterprise customers, and we've gotten in with some of the biggest travel agencies in the world in smaller business units. So the opportunity there is huge. And we're in contract with 2 of the top 5 agencies right now. So our system is in equal value to no matter the size of the agency, but I think the way they use it based on the implementation and hesitancy to change too much at once is different depending on the size of the agency. And, I think one of the things Xeon specializes in is taking complex things and making them very simple. I think that's where we started, is simplifying commissions. So onboarding is really easy, and the way we integrate with them is simple as well. We just need to get a few IDs from them, and their integrations with the major GDSs could be set up depending on the GDS partner, anywhere from 2 days a week to 2 to 3 weeks max.
Thank you. Great. Stephen or Philip?
Yes. So I had a quick question for you, Irving. From the travel agent's perspective, how much more value are you adding than, say, a factoring service?
Well, Xeon's initial idea before we founded the company was factoring. And when we learned more about the risk assessment and what you needed to be able to factor commissions, we decided to go this path, and it's still an end goal of ours to be able to assess that risk and see those tendencies. But a factoring service would be great. I'm not aware of any in the travel industry. So that is something we're striving towards. And I think the data we're collecting along the way is going to put us in position to do that. Right now, I think a factoring service would lose a lot of money.
Agencies can be very fragmented. How are you scaling your sales?
Well, I think we intentionally, with our industry experience from our founding team, we initially built the first MVP in this product, where it is valuable both to an individual agent, where we take some data from you and replicate an environment as if your entire agency was on there, and also as an agency. And if you start without your agency and then they end up coming on, we made that transition very easy in the way that we built Xeon and how we really championed the independent contractor in that process as well, seeing that shift. So, we built Xeon in a flexible way where you could be onboarded no matter agency or individual agent.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Irving. Thank you to the judges.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Nicholas Palufo from Traveler, CEO and co-founder. Nicholas, hi, welcome. Welcome back.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, if you would bring up your presentation, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock. And as soon as you are ready to roll, we will give you your 5 and start the timer.
Perfect. Can you see it?
We can.
Wonderful. All right, so good morning from sunny California. In my 23 years as a hotel owner operator, I've been puzzled by a curious asymmetry: e-commerce versus travel. E-commerce is all about elegant efficiency, single sign-on, personalized offerings, and a one-click checkout. 25% of customers happily come back for more. Contrast this with booking a hotel online. It begins with landing pages that may be trying to sell you a family trip to Disneyland when you're actually looking for a solo trip to Asia. Any concept of customization rarely makes it beyond displaying your name and points balance on the screen. Ready to buy? Prepare for trying to remember that unique login and password, followed by a multi-screen marathon of repeating your name, address, credit card, and billing info. No wonder only 4% of guests return. The challenge and opportunity lie on customer data. Travel's infrequent nature means customers rarely update or even remember their accounts. Complicating matters are the multiple countries, languages, and a fragmented marketplace. A culture of distrust and the illusion of owning the client lead to isolated systems and data decay. To pivot from product focus to traveler centric, we need a digital infrastructure tailored for e-commerce. Building trust means adding value universally, maintaining neutrality, and embracing transparency. Well, where to begin? The answer lies in exploring uncharted territory, where no one else is looking. Let me tell you a secret. Travel agencies will sell over $100 billion of hotel room nights this year. Contrary to popular belief, they have been the fastest growing channel in recent years. Yet, in 2023, they still have no idea when, how, or if they'll get paid. All they get is an imaginary hope certificate. In fact, more than 20% of commissions will never get paid. The rest will be around 3 months late, usually through a check in the mail. Additionally, the manual settlement process is a burden to multiple departments, inundated with bureaucracy and unpaid commission complaints. Not a surprise, some of that business will migrate to expensive wholesalers or the competition. We identified the ideal solution by analyzing top performing platforms based on transaction volume, speed, and accuracy across various parties. Uber, DoorDash, and similar platforms emerge as the ideal models, underpinned by two shared features: split payment technology and the seamless integration of three fundamental tasks: shop, pay, and get paid. Inspired by this approach, Traveler was established as the sole B2B travel platform, offering advisors a unifying platform to book, pay, and get paid. Travel agencies receive their full commissions within a week, which is over 10 times faster. Hotels enhance their reputation with advisors, benefiting from direct bookings, a more profitable strategy than relying on costly wholesalers and net rates that impact ADR, RevPAR, and management fees, all automated, requiring zero effort. Traveler Marketplace is designed to maximize results for both hotels and agencies. Our booking engine has B2B capabilities with a B2C look and feel, requiring zero training. The embedded fintech capabilities are what make it special, delivering unprecedented results for all parties. That's made possible by our partnership with what we believe to be the best fintech company in the world. Today, a retail travel agency must choose between going direct and suffering to get paid, or buying from a wholesaler, becoming invisible and ultimately irrelevant. Well, not anymore. We officially launched 12 days ago at the Virtuoso Travel Tech Summit, and momentum has been building rapidly, attracting attention from some of the industry icons. All of this is supported by a team with hundreds of years of combined experience in travel, technology, and finance. With this important first step, we're laying the groundwork to bring our vision to reality, leading the traveler-centric revolution by providing the digital infrastructure for global travel commerce. It's a feature where travelers experience better service and providers will efficiently attract and foster lasting relationships at scale. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thanks for the presentation, Nicholas. Judges, what do we think? Who has a question? Who'd like to start us off?
I'm happy to start again.
Okay,
this is interesting. So it sounds like not only do you do commission settlements similar to Scion, but you have you said a B2B booking tool. So it sounds like then you can settle commissions that are not just for bookings, not just done within the GDS, but also sort of more direct bookings if they use your booking tool. Is that, am I understanding that right?
Correct. So we are the only platform in B2B travel where you can book, pay, and get paid, right? So commissions, bookings have to be made on our platform. We can't process payments made elsewhere yet. That is 6 to 12 months out. But today it has to be made on our own platform that we can process that payment on behalf of the supplier, which is the hotel, which remains merchant of record, and we split that payment, getting everyone paid extremely fast and accurately.
Okay, thank you.
I'll ask a follow-up to that, and also greetings from sunny California. You said bookings need to be made on your platform. So can you talk to us about your marketing strategy and how you're going to get folks to your platform?
Yeah, we're starting on the high end, on the luxury segment, which is where I spent the last 23 years of my life. Again, as I said before, a hotel owner operator. My family is also in travel agencies, so I know both sides very well. With that comes a very large Rolodex, including other people on our team. So for the last year and few months that we've been acquiring customers, we actually can't process our own relationships enough. Of course, at some point that needs to scale with a larger team, customer acquisition, all the usual processes, but it's crawl, walk, run. So I see it as buy side, sell side. The buy side is mostly retail travel agencies in the US, typically the Virtuoso type of travel agencies. On the sell side, today, small to medium hotels, mostly in Europe. There's a perfect match because US agencies sometimes have a harder time booking those agencies, and for sure have a harder time getting paid by those by those hotels. those hotels desire to have access to the US market. So it's a perfect match. And we're now onboarding the first few portfolios of properties between 6 and 11. There's 3 of them on onboarding right now. And then we go into larger deals as we progress and mature as a company.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? 30 seconds left on the clock. Christy, Philip, Stephen?
I'll just say it's nice to see you, Nicholas. I know I've been in contact a few weeks back, so no
Likewise.
questions. I feel like I asked all my questions to Nicholas directly.
Likewise. Great seeing everyone.
Okay.
Here.
Great, thank you very much. And thanks to all of the America's judges. Thank you all. Please mark your score sheets. And that is actually our final presentation for today. And that concludes the semifinal competition, which is fantastic. Hi, Pete, how are you?
Kimberly, great to see you.
Good to see you too. We're upside down. I'm going to bed, you're waking up.
Love it. Well done. Yeah, it was really
strong
good
presentations. Yeah.
Strong group of startups as always. So really good to see lots of innovation going on from across all regions. So I will relieve you at the moment. The next session is going to be our post-game wrap. So let me share my screen and I'll kind of tee that one up and also invite Kara and Andy to share yourselves on the screen. Hi, Kara, I see you. Andy, thanks for jumping in here. So what we'll do is I'm going to stop with this slide. We're going to jump in and really kind of discuss some broader trends in the market. You know, we obviously saw a lot of interesting technology today, and I'm curious before we kind of jump into what we're all seeing in the market. Have you, and maybe this is a question for both of you, as you're evaluating startups and as you're looking at some of these companies, has that evaluation criteria changed at all in the last, 9 to 12 months? Or are you still kind of focused on the same things that you've always been focused on?
Yeah. You go ahead, Andy.
You start. Go for it.
I think for me as an angel investor, nothing is really any different. So, I think there's a nuance between angels and institutional investors. Angels are writing checks out of their own bank accounts. And so we're not really answerable to a whole series of LPs that have, particular strategies for what they're looking for out of an investment. So for me, nothing is any different.
Yeah, I kind of concur with that as well. I think a good business case, a good management team is good when the times are very good and when the times are tough. And I think they stay calm when the times are great. They don't, throw around money, and equally when the times are tough, they don't panic. And I think that's why I think a lot of the metrics that we use will be the same throughout the, the various cycles. What I would say, more in general, working with institutional investors and also with, maybe strategic investors, there is more rigor around data and the quality of data being received, and also just, more focus on the path to profitability and just a clear business case. But, I would have argued you need that all along. It's just, now the hurdle is a bit higher.
Yeah. Well, good. So let's look at some of the technologies that we saw today and the problems that startups are working to solve. So we saw a pretty decent variety of virtual reality to scaling complex itineraries, to blended travel solutions, to digitizing, as we always do. We see lots of digitizing across the customer journey, and also B2B tech that is increasing efficiency. So maybe just kind of thinking about the broader ecosystem, what are some of the areas that the two of you are seeing? And maybe Andy, I'll kind of start with you. Where are some of the biggest opportunities today?
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on a lot of them. I'd say, the kind of two buckets. I mean, this is very generalist, right? But there's those buckets who are kind of great companies, some of which I just heard before, which are solving specific problems in the value chain of travel, be it in the payment stack or be it in, just making the companies in the travel industry that little bit more efficient. And actually, I would argue those can be fantastic companies if they're able to scale across the industry, because when you're partnering with a high volume company, you can become, great fairly quickly. Obviously, the pain point has to be clear enough and has to be big enough. But equally, I think we're seeing, companies that are still revolutionizing and coming up with something that has not been the case before. I mean, there are obviously always going to be, by definition, few of these companies, because it takes to find the next Airbnb. That's that's going to be it's a miracle. But for example, we work with a company called WiT in the US that does delivery of cars to your doorstep, and I think it's those sorts of companies that are still providing quite unique approaches, maybe even to mature markets, to mature industries like the car rental sector, but a very different approach to what we've seen by the legacy players. So I think there's both those companies looking for more efficiency and helping the value chain of the travel industry, but also those who are completely just rethinking the problem.
Kara, how about you?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot since the pandemic is, travel is it's an enormous market, but I still think there's opportunities to make it bigger. And so, some of the digital twin things that we've seen are really interesting to me from the perspective of, I think of somebody like Wheel the World, for example, which is one of my portfolio companies, and they're doing some really great things in surfacing more options for accessible travel, right? And so looking at how they're thinking about accessible travel, it's not just people in a wheelchair, it's people with all sorts of different abilities and how they need to get around. And so I could see something like some of the digital twin technologies really being helpful for that end of the market to say, okay, well, maybe somebody in this particular type of wheelchair can't navigate this particular hiking trail, but somebody with a different type of disability would be able to. So right now there's a lot of kind of binary stuff that I think unnecessarily locks down certain elements of the market that I think could be opened up with more technology around things like that, and forms of payment too, right? I think buy now, pay later is interesting, but I don't love that because I think it incents some of the wrong behavior. But I've seen some things that are more like save now, travel later, right? And so things like that I think could be interesting for expanding the market for a segment of the demographic segment that's probably younger and doesn't have a credit card to buy, a $400 plane ticket readily today, but they might be able to space that out over time. So things like that are really interesting to me. And I'm starting to see more of those opportunities come up.
Yeah, save now, travel later is tapping a little bit more into that loyalty piece, right? So they're able to kind of do a little bit more than just, put something on layaway and, eventually pay it off over time. So, Kara, I want to ask you, I know you weren't up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock your time, so you might have missed some of the Asia Pac startups, but just in general, was there, something that we missed today, we didn't see from these startups? And I know we saw, towards the tail end, we saw a little bit of companies that are basically fully focused on generative AI, but are you surprised that we didn't see more applications of AI? I know we're still super early, at least in that GAI cycle, but what are some things that maybe you expected to see more of that you didn't see today?
Yeah, I think the two things that I'm still kind of keeping an eye out. One is kind of in the mobility space. And so WiT, the car, there's another WiT as well. So there's two different WiTs, but the WiT mobility one is kind of interesting because I think there's and that may be kind of less of a travel specific thing, but I put it in the category of Uber, where you could use it for non-travel use cases as well as travel use cases. But I think the idea of kind of fractional mobility is interesting. And I think there's ways that could be explored a little more than it has been so far. And I think that has implications for like cities and municipalities that, are a little different than how we typically think of travel startups going to market. But that's interesting to me. And I think the category, the whole like universal ID, universal wallet, decentralized identification is interesting. We started to see some of that during the pandemic because you had so many requirements for how you could travel, right? And so those kind of fell away, I think, a little bit, but I think there's still a lot of opportunity for that I know there's some companies poking around in those areas, but I don't feel like I've seen as much of them recently.
So let's jump a little bit into the kind of fundraising and M&A environment. So we follow this quite closely. Mike Coletta presented some trends from our State of Startups database at Phocuswright Europe. And some of the big trends, obviously, valuations have taken quite a huge hit. That led to you know, we saw a pretty sizable jump in acquisitions in 2022 and even into the first half of 2023. Venture funding has, you know, dried up to some degree, although we're starting to see some of that come back. Debt funding skyrocketed, you know, leading to some challenges here in the banking system in the US. So maybe, Andy, are things starting to free up a bit? What are you seeing on your side?
Yeah, I know. I think the trends we see in Europe are very similar. Probably, you know, they're reflecting the global trends a bit, but you know, definitely, I would say I'm not actually that convinced that it will change as rapidly as unfortunately we want it to change, and things are going to free up. I just think for the near future, we're still, you know, planning with a high interest rate environment. If you take the UK, you know, it's one of the countries with the highest inflation rates, and it's just, you know, continuing to go up, and so the kind of, you know, the returns you can get in safe spots compared to the returns that you will get from putting in venture, you know, it just makes that hurdle a little bit higher, and it really takes much more, you know, of a brave investor, let's say, to especially in the travel category, to come in. But that said, I do think, you know, again, when you talk to the right investors who, you know, are in for the long term and really understand the value proposition, they understand that the travel industry is one that's going to continue to grow. And it's just going to change over time, you know, things like, you know, environmental, you know, friendliness of the travel industry, things like the trends that, you know, were just mentioned around being more inclusive, things around different mobility forms. There's so many different areas that are growing. And I think, you know, a smart investor would see that actually now is a great time to double down, because, you know, there might be somewhere you could get them for attractive valuations, let's put it that way. And so I do think you see the juxtaposition between those companies who are just staying out, and we have a lot of those, unfortunately, who are just saying, no, we're not touching travel right now. And, you know, it's too high risk for us. But we also see some who are saying, listen, now's the time to look at it, because we do believe in it for the long term.
So, Kara, this doesn't impact you quite as much on the earlier phase, but anything that you're seeing in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, valuations were not rational for a while. So I think, you know, startups and founding team needs to be mindful that, you know, we're kind of coming back to normal. That was not normal. So this is kind of more the new normal. So, you know, reset your baseline for what you expect there. You know, I don't focus too much on valuations. I think, you know, the best thing I can see from these early stage teams is like, just focus on building your product and getting usage and getting traction and showing some revenue potential. And, you know, your business will resolve itself when it comes time to raise that next round. So it's really just, you know, the same kind of discipline that we should have been having all along is more important now.
Great. All right. So I want to jump into a virtual speed round, and then we're gonna share some advice to these startups that pitch today. So virtual speed round, basically I'll throw out a phrase and you'll respond with a word or a short sentence, and then we'll do a little bit of this or that towards the end. So Andy, AI-driven trip inspiration startups.
Very relevant, but is now the right time? Question mark.
Kara, B2B or B2C?
Oh, B2B.
I thought you would.
Consumers scare me. I'm a bit not a DNA Adams kind of person.
Yes, indeed. Andy, startups who are empowering the creator economy.
Nice. Power to the people.
Kara, business travel startups.
Opportunity.
Andy, blockchain.
Yet to be proven in travel. I hope it will be.
Yeah. Kara, hospitality startups. We didn't see that many of them today. We've seen a ton of them over the years, and yeah, we didn't see all that many of them today. Andy, incubators and accelerators.
Sorry, one or the other, or both?
No,
sorry.
just, you know, their role and value in the ecosystem.
It's like the lifeblood of helping get the travel venture world going. It's without that we wouldn't have the second. Sorry, that was a bit.
No, fully agree. Kara, access to funding.
Complicated. More complicated than it needs to be.
All right, Andy, here's a little this or that operating a global travel brand like Expedia or TUI, or investing in startups?
Oh, depends on how much hair you have left on your head.
Did you lose your hair from operating a global travel brand?
Yeah, I think listen, the beautiful, amazing places to learn. You have to, it's great to learn the trade. Yeah.
And Kara, on a similar note, OTA, corporate travel, or free agent investment and advisor, where do you prefer to be?
Well, I would say free agent, investor, and advisor, because I get to tap into both of the other two when I see something interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go into an advice clinic. So Andy, maybe one piece of advice to startups who are selling into larger corporations, and I'll give you about 45 seconds for this one.
45 seconds. So what I would say is, usually, like to Kara's point, if it's a great startup, they will have spent a lot of time on product market fit and, getting the customer experience, spot on. What we notice when it comes to selling to more mature companies is that for some businesses, the P&L, the balance sheet, the kind of, let's call it the boring stuff, can be all over the place. And I just advise everyone to have, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's someone else, someone who's just really good at numbers and finance and planning, just to come in, an accountant, basically come in early on and get everything on a stable footing, because it will make your life so much easier when you're trying to negotiate with a mature company who has all of that in place.
That's great advice. Kara, I know you've spent quite a bit of time helping startups as well as helping larger corporations kind of bring those two elements together. Anything that you wanted to share with startups or even with corporates that are tuning in too?
Yeah. I think for startups and big companies trying to work together, it's really important to have a pretty clear process, right? So startups, you need to have your ducks in a row. You need to have, your financials are important. You need to really understand the nuances of your product and the value prop for that specific team within the bigger company. You can't try to solve all their problems. So really be deliberate about the process in your pitch. And I think for the larger companies, understand that you need to operate on startup time, not your typical vendor procurement timeline.
Yeah, that's a certainly a good one. So, all right, one more comment from each of you, just to kind of put a wrap on the conversation. What are some opportunities? What are some things that you're bullish about? How do you feel about kind of the state of travel startups today? And maybe I'll start with you, Kara.
Yeah, there's still so much opportunity, and it's my focus, like I said, is more on the B2B side, and I think there's a lot of interesting potential for rethinking how travel is kind of presented, right, and the whole shopping and inspiration and everything else. And I love to see some of the younger demographic, the younger millennials and Gen Z and the creator economy kind of bring these new ways of shopping and planning and booking, because I think one comment I heard recently from a group of younger folks, they're like, why would we use a booking engine like that? So why are you making me fill out this form like an old Scantron? Well, they don't know what a Scantron is, but you get the point. Like, that's not how we think about things. It's all video driven. It's very image forward. And I think that's really a paradigm shift for how we're thinking about travel going forward. So that's exciting to see.
How about you, Andy?
Yeah, I love that, because, also that's why I think someone mentioned it before, just have people from outside of the industry come in and from different, generations work together and just disrupt what we've been doing for so many years. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Come up with something different. I'd say in general, we've seen a lot of opportunity, with companies that are just totally doing something different, but for a niche that already exists. So I mentioned Kite, but we're also working with a company called Halal Bookings that just focuses on the Muslim travel world, and they do such a great job at serving customers with specific requirements, and the same can be applied to any sort of big niche. So lots of space, even in mature markets to disrupt. But then as we've heard on the call, there's a lot of startups just solving problems that are real, and they might not be the most sexy problem, but actually they can create a lot of value for the companies they're solving it for. So I'm bullish on both sides, and I think I'm also very bullish on the fact that there's still so many new travel startups coming through the door, because it's just a fun industry to be in, and everyone wants to travel. So it's not going away anytime soon, despite what people are saying.
That's for sure. Well, great. Thank you both. So now we're going to kind of go on to the announcement of our winners. So I'll ask you to turn off your cameras. I'm going to share my screen. So we want to first start by obviously thanking our judges who put in a ton of time today, as well as over the course of the global startup pitch so far. So judges not only helped us select the companies that presented today, but they also scored them, and they're helping us select the ones that will go on to present at WiT and then ultimately at the Phocuswright conference. So as Kimberly and Suhoon mentioned, we are going to welcome 5 finalists to join us in person at WiT Singapore from October 2nd to 4th at the Marina Bay Sands. And we hope all of you will come out for the human revolution and Suhoon and her team are putting together a fantastic program for WiT Singapore. After WiT, we will shift gears and move on to the Phocuswright conference, where the winner of the competition will present in a spotlight presentation at the Phocuswright conference, which is November 13th through the 16th. And we are really excited to discuss you, me, and the machine. So looking forward to the next 2 phases of the global startup pitch. So none of this work would have been possible without our support from our sponsors as well as our partners. So thanks to JetBlue Ventures, as well as to Amazon Web Services, who's supporting the global startup competition with generous rewards for all the startups that advanced to the grand finals. The awards will include up to $100,000 in AWS promotional credits for the top 3 and up to $25,000 in promotional credits for the remaining finalists. And also our friends over at Stripe, who will provide $10,000 fee-free credit card processing credit for the 5 finalists and a $20,000 credit for the winner of the global startup pitch competition at the grand finals. So really, really appreciate your ongoing support and partnership. So on to the winners. We are going to start with Asia Pac. So Tor Amigo, congratulations, Murray. Very well done. Shifting gears to Middle East and Africa. Ibu Kuno Lua, well done from Direx. Really, really enjoyed your presentation today. So congratulations there. Zitlin Human, I already saw you pop up on the screen a little bit early. So congratulations to you. Very well done with Zitlin Technologies. And Legends, Stephanie Daniel. So well done, Stephanie. Congratulations to you all. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you.
Great job. So congrats. All right. So once again, thanks to oh, we forgot Squad Trip. Darian, well done. The wild card winner. So that's the number 5. So well done. Awesome. So thanks again for attending, judging, and pitching. We know it's a labor of love to be here today and to present. So thank you for your commitment, all the startups, and great enthusiasm, of course, support of innovation. Winners, we'll see you at the grand finals in WiT Singapore in October. The winner there will move on to the center stage at the Phocuswright conference. So be on the lookout for announcement of the Hot 25. That comes up in November, right around the time of the Phocuswright conference. So the Phocuswire team, as well as the Phocuswright analyst team, spends lots of time putting together our Hot 25. So we're going to be announcing those live from the stage at the Phocuswright conference. And of course, we are excited for many of you to join us at WiT in Singapore. So thanks again. Looking forward to seeing you over the course of the next few months. And again, really appreciate all your support. Let me cue this up before we play it. So we're playing a video from Natalia, the executive director of the UNWTO. So Natalia put together this video. We really appreciate her support. And let me roll into that. Yes.
And share with sound, please.
Okay, will do. Can you all hear sound or no?
No, it's not coming through.
Okay. Let me try one more time here.
So while we wait, just to announce the winners once again from the APAC, we've got Tour Amigo. Middle East, we've got Direx.
Hi,
Europe,
everyone.
Zitlan.
It's my pleasure to be here today with all of you. First of all, remember that 4 years ago, when our Secretary General Surab Pololikashvili came to the UNWTO, he decided to include innovation, technology as part of one of his strongest pillars. Of course, today, the UNWTO has at least 5 priorities inside this house: innovation and digital transformation, education, investments, sustainability, and of course, added value jobs. Today, we would like to start this amazing conference with how these pillars can help us to create a better society, how these pillars can help us to create a better tourism sector. Why innovation is crucial? Innovation is crucial because it's the power of youth. Thanks to innovation, we have the power to give the voice to the most youngest generations that it has different solutions when technology is part of the new ventures. When we talk about technology, remember that the startup ecosystem is key in order to talk about a sustainable innovation. When I talk about the innovation ecosystem, I'm talking about adding value to the 6 actors of the ecosystem that are, as you know, innovators, entrepreneurs, startups, governments, institutions or accelerators, innovation labs, corporates, investors, and the academia. Without those 6 working together, it's impossible to talk about a sustainable innovation. What are we doing inside the UNWTO? As you know, we have 4 programs that we're running today: the startup competitions, the innovation challenges, the tourism tech adventures are our key innovation forums, and of course, our innovation network. Thanks to those 4 programs, we have more than 10,000 startups that have applied to our competitions from more than 150 countries. The more used technologies are based on artificial intelligence, big data analytics, digital marketing, where augmented reality, virtual reality, and Internet of Things are crucial. These technologies has been really mature. Nonetheless, we have a lot to do. From the 100 subsectors of the tourism sector, only the innovation is going to 3 subsectors that are mobility and transport, e-commerce, and of course, hospitality. But the question is, where are the innovators in gastronomy? Where are the innovators in health? Where are the innovators in manufacturing? Remember that when you build a hotel, where you build an amusement park that is part of the touristic chain, you need manufacturing goods, you need towels, you need fruits, you need a lot of things to create a new experience. Where is the innovation when it comes to meetings, incentives, congresses, and events? We need the power of youth, of the youngest entrepreneurs, of the SMEs, and of course of the startups to create new technologies and to help us to innovate not only in these 3 hotspots, if I can say, that basically are 50% of the whole innovation of the tourism sector. We need to diversify a little bit more on the different subsectors in order to have a 360 integral and complete innovation. Then, thanks to our programs again, our startups have raised more than $240 million. This only in the last 3 years. And this, once again, is aligned with joining efforts between the public and the private sector. I can say that thanks to the power of partnerships, we can, Amadeus, MasterCard, Globalia, Wakalua, the governments of Portugal, Argentina, Colombia, Spain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Macau, among others, have been supporting these programs, and thanks to them, today, innovation is a reality inside the UNWTO, and the connections has been done to create more than 100 pilot projects and more than 300 mentorship programs. In that way, we are helping the smallest to grow. So innovation today has the challenge in not only in helping the tourism ecosystem to get more mature. The biggest challenge I see in the touristic innovation ecosystem is with the SMEs. As you know, tourism, the touristic chain is created by different actors, but 80% of those actors are small and medium enterprises. And unfortunately, during COVID times, they have received a lot of funds for surviving, not for investing in technology, not for investing on innovation. This is the moment where we need to empower the SMEs, to help them and to mind the gap in order to have a sustainable sector where everybody can use technology. That's why inside the UNWTO, we created the UNWTO Digital Futures, a program that was launched during the last UNWTO General Assembly, which aim is to bring accessibility and to bring access to new technologies to the small and medium enterprises. It's really easy. You just need to go to the UNWTO website, click on the Digital Futures program. You need to enroll and to fill a form, and then we will, thanks to the partnership with MasterCard, we will be able to connect and to give you a personal assessment on where is your SME, where are your gaps, and what do you need to fill those gaps. We decided to create 4 verticals that are the most important technologies that are needed in our sector. The technologies are, first of all, digital payments by far. Second of all, cloud. Third of all, digital marketing. And fourth of all, everything related to artificial intelligence and how through artificial intelligence you can predict in different data-driven models. With those 4, the idea is to train more than 2 million SMEs and then to give them access to digital tools and to keep those tools into their own businesses. Without the power of the SMEs and without them digitized, we cannot talk about a modern tourism sector. I want to finish by telling you that, of course, the UNWTO is here to help. That today I have been briefed on the 3 pillars that I lead inside the UNWTO that are helping to change the vision of the most human economic sector. But remember that without them, without innovation, without education, without investments, we cannot talk about a sustainable tourism. And without empowering youth, we cannot talk about the tourism sector that is the most important sector for them. I wish you all the best, and I just want to encourage you to join us and to join all the programs that the UNWTO is running today for better, for the good of our society, and of course, for achieving our common agenda that is the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you.
So thanks everyone again, innovators, judges, speakers, sponsors, and congratulations to the innovators. Have a good day. Bye.